the most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $400,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, here to the Turn 3 Racing Network. It is Thursday night, and that means one thing. It's the USRA Cup Series. Tonight, it is the Bobby Johnson Memorial 250 race here, presented by Jared Hadedorn. And as always, here on a Thursday night, it is Muth up here in the booth. I got another expert racer here in the booth with me tonight. It's Taylor the Butcher Benjamin. Taylor, it's Talladega, and it is going to be absolutely wicked out there on this 2.6-mile track.
Oh, it definitely will, and you know, each and every one of these, we got 24 drivers in the server right now, and don't you bet on the winner, because trust me, all 24 of these drivers believe that they can come in here and win this race, given that it's a plate race. You're going to see a lot of 3-wide, white knuckle racing for 120 laps. I'm excited for this. And this point battle between Jeff Pogo and Luke LaFaro, it could take this could be a big time determining factor based on who gets out of here with the better finish tonight as the weeks count down to the championship race. Tonight might be it could play a big factor as who wins the championship and who's in second.
Yeah, you talk about that championship hunt. Let's just take a quick look at it. This is how the points shape up coming here into the Bobby Johnson Memorial race here at Talladega. 4 races left if you count tonight. So only 3 races left here after this wild card super speedway race. Jeff Pogo has a 10-point lead. I was looking at it and something's a little wrong here with the slide, but he has a 10-point lead right now over Luke LaFaro, and then Luke LaFaro has I'm going to say a pretty huge gap back to Eric Colley. That's an 82-point gap, but that points deficit right there. Last time we were at the Super Speedway, Luke LaFaro and Jeff Pogo ran up front all night long. Luke LaFaro ended up winning that race back at Daytona and could possibly win once again here at the Super Speedway. So your point standings do look like this. It is Jeff Pogo, Luke LaFaro, Eric Colley, and Jamie Leach is separated by 3 points right there. So that's 3rd and 4th. 5th and 6th is Stephen Holmes and Aaron Davidson. Dan Dill is 7th. Jared Hadedorn is 8th in your points. 9th is Ira Kohlhaas himself. And then Donald Bennett rounds out that top 10. John Mullins is right there in the 11th spot. Chase Berry is 12th. Chris Brown, who's back in action, is 13th. Michael Bromley sitting there 14th. Skip Dennis Carman right there in 15th. Cody Levitt is 16th. Jim Ott way down the charts here, where you would expect him to be a little bit higher here on a Thursday night. He is 17th. Jason Arison right there, 18th. Michael Sturgill is 19th. And Ryan Jones rounds out your top 20 drivers. And Jones is back in action here tonight.
Of course, the winner of our last race, Justin Wilson at Sonoma, he's not in this field. And if you can recall, he led every single lap. So basically 0 lead changes. I would be shocked if we don't have upwards of 50 tonight, given how long this race is and given how easy it is. Well, I won't say easy, but not quite as difficult to make a run on the leader. But yeah, this a lot of opportunities early on for these guys to get bonus points by leading a lap, and that's going to really play a big benefactor, perhaps, and who has a better night, because we're going to be talking about a lot of guys running in the front the whole time, and there's probably going to be a few that hang out in the back and wait until about 10 laps to go to really get going.
Yeah, and talking about getting going, we're going to qualifying here in just a moment, so we will step away and we will be right back here with qualifying action here from the Talladega Superspeedway.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the racket's regular, the bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Welcome back in, race fans, here to the Talladega Superspeedway. Qualifying is underway as the 44 of Jason Arison is back here in action with the USRA after a couple weeks off, dealing with his family issues, or we'll call them issues, as he had lost a very close loved one to himself. So our prayers and thoughts still go out to Jason Arison, but it's good to see him back here with USRA in this new year, and he goes straight to the top of the board with his Pure Inc. 44 Chevrolet. And Jason Arison laid down a 52.7, and he is actually bumped real quick by the Pennsylvania driver, the 68 of Miroslav Mach, who is running a part-time schedule here with these guys. He has the No Bull Ford Mustang out there tonight, labeled as the 23. He is the 68, though, across our timing and scoring tonight.
Curious to see how many people actually take a qualifying time, because as we were discussing during the anthem, that you get a bonus point for the most positions gained, but in order to qualify for that bonus point, you have to, from what I understand, is you have to qualify within a second of the pole sitter. And of course, you get a bonus point for being the pole sitter. So a lot of guys, that'd be a pretty easy point to pick up just by being the fastest man in qualifying.
Yeah, right now the fastest man is the 03 of Aaron Davidson as he pulls it off in his brand new paint-schemed 03. We'll talk about that a little bit later on in the show here. Right now it's Aaron Davidson on the pole with Dan Dill right there with the slim margin back to second. Cole Haas is sitting in the third spot. Miroslav Mach is fourth now. And then that moves Chris Brown, who is back in action here. He is in P number 5. One of our championship contenders, though, of Jeff Pogo, is out there with a brand new ghosted paint scheme with those new spec maps. He is actually falling down through the field here. He is now 10th quickest, so it's not where he wants to be. And I'm looking through, and I'm not sure if I saw the 20 of... There is Luke Lafaro. I was just thinking about it. I was going to say, Taylor, where is Luke Lafaro here tonight? But he is out there on track, and he's coming through the tri-oval here to complete lap number 1 of qualifying for himself.
Of course, he has to come into this race with quite a bit of confidence with how he performed in the season opening race at Daytona by starting the season off with the win and running pretty strong last night in the Xfinity race, as did Jeff Pogo, as he ended up going to victory lane. Trying to think, I believe Luke should be able to get around and complete this lap. Boy, he might be close though. He's got 20 seconds. He's in turn 4.
But you never know how fast that Toyota Camry is going to come off turn number 4, and he has a little over 10 seconds here as he hits this tri-oval. He should be able to put in another time lap. But how about the 11 of Steve Schmidt goes to the top of the boards here, and Ryan Jones in the Mountain Dew Baja Blast Machine will come over across the line in second. And that will do it for qualifying. So the Pennsylvania driver of the number 11, Steve Holmes, will have the top spot here tonight and lead us to green in the Bobby Johnson 250 Memorial here tonight, presented by Jared Hadedorn. Right now, waiting for these guys to take to the grid here from their qualifying spots. 1 pace lap for them once we get there.
So it looks like Jared Hagedorn, speaking of him being the presenting this race, he's going to try to make his name in this race by trying to win this race by starting last.
Well, Jared Hagedorn, one of those drivers you have to watch out for. He will come through the field here early and often tonight. Well, let's take you through that starting lineup real quick as these drivers still continue to grid here. Qualifying grid gonna look like this. Starting on row number 1, P number 1, it will be the guy out of Pennsylvania. It will be Steve Schmidt. Ryan Jones back in action with his Mountain Dew Taco Bell car. He'll start second there on row 1. Row number 2 will go to another Pennsylvania driver. It'll be the 31 of Donald Bennett, and then the ever-elusive 03 of Aaron Davidson. Row 3 then will look like this. Corey Blevins right there in the 48, and Missouri native of Dan Dill. Row number 4, Big Country, Cole Haas in the 33, and there is the California kid, Luke Lafaro. Row 5 will go to the Las Vegas kid, Cody Levitt, and Miroslav Mach there in the 68. Row 6, Kokomo, Indiana man, Chris Brown. It's not a dirt track, but it's a big super speedway, so that means anybody has a chance, and he's here to try and take stakes here in the Bobby Johnson race. Robert Dudley and his ALS machine will roll off there also on row number 6. Row 7 tonight goes to the 44 of Jason Arison and the 64, here of John Mullins. Right behind them will start the Sim Speed Shop driver out of Pennsylvania. It'll be the number 3 here tonight of Jason Eisenhower. Michael Bromley out of the Bromley Design Stable is scheduled to roll off there in row number 8 as well. Row number 9 will be the 24 of Jeff Pogo and his teammate there of Eric Holly. Row 10 tonight, right behind them, another teammate to be the number 9 of Stephen Holmes and the Ohio driver Jamie Leach. Row 11 then will go to Michael Sturgill and the number 4 of Jim Ott. Row 12 will go to the Super Speedway expert number 10 of Chase Berry, who was just down there in Daytona International. Watch some of that 24-hour practice sessions down there, the roar before the 24. And then it'd be the 43 of Craig Learman. Right behind them, starting shotgun to the field, then will be the 22 of Jared Hagedorn.
See, no short of literally a dozen cars, about 6 cars starting from pit roads, including Stephen Holmes, Eric Holly, Jeff Pogo. That whole group back there that was scheduled to start 17th, 18th, and 19th, so tell right away what their strategy is going to be, is to just hang out for about 100 laps and then go right at the end. One guy I'm going to be keeping my eye on, he is my teammate in another league, is John Mullins, because knowing how he races on these super speedways, he might not set down the fast blistering qualifying lap, but he knows how to get his way towards the front, and knowing him, he's going to try to stay there as long as he can.
Yeah, it looks like Mullins here on our screen driving the all-green Chevrolet. That might be a little bit incorrect, as looks like we're having a little bit of an issue on that here, but nonetheless, 25 drivers are set to take the green flag here. A handful of them will start from pit road, as Taylor said, so we'll keep an eye on them. They will be looking for a caution here early on. If they don't get that caution, well, then they're going to have to see if they can, I guess, make up 2.6 miles on the rest of the field here. Donald Bennett having a little bit of connection issues with the 31 machine as the iRacing pace car is down. They're going to pull the belts tight for the final time here before the green flag drops tonight.
There's a long way down past the exit of pit road where the start-finish line is, and we're under green. Donald Bennett still with some internet connection issues, and that's going to bottle up that inside line a little bit.
Everybody trying to work their way around that 31. Oh, Donald Bennett right now having super connection issues. He does drop down below that yellow line there, and they will start to single file out here coming out of turn number 1. Still looks like Schmidt has that advantage right now over Davidson as they roar down the backstretch for the first time, and a lot of your top 10 drivers have single filed out. The only one just stuck to the outside right now is going to be, looks like that is Miroslav Mach right now, and is no bull forward to the outside.
Davidson took advantage of Bennett having some internet connection issues and dropped right in line. And one car out there again at 68. And it looks like Steve Schmidt's going to come by and lead lap number 1. Although up to the outside, Luke LaFar is wanting to make some hay here. Get himself a bonus point early on while he knows his championship rival is started from pit road and is a long way back.
Yeah, right now those drivers that all started from pit road are about, give it about not quite halfway behind these drivers. They are sitting approximately about 18 to 20 seconds back behind your main group here. Donald Bennett, who started on the second row, has fallen all the way back to the 19th spot here with his connection issues in that 31 machine. Now he tags the rear of the field right now in that 19th spot. That second group that started from pit road, they are kind of broken up right now with 6 drivers, and leading those, we're calling 2 little groups of 3. It's Dan Dill, Cody Levitt, and Chris Brown, and then it is Eric Hawley, Stephen Holmes, and Jeff Pogo all back there. So 6 drivers now behind the 8 ball here tonight, but trying to stick it out here. They want to be there at the end of this one. Oh, look at the 03 of Davidson down there on that inside lane. It was a little bit of a seesaw action there through turn 1 and 2 as he was back and forth on that inside groove.
Look at the push that old big country is giving Luke LaFaro. I think Luke is clear to the inside if he wants to take it. Yeah, a little indecision there.
2x2 here as they come out of turn number 4 to the inside. It is still be Steve Schmidt leading that inside charge. Luke LaFaro had to run down the backstretch, wasn't able to make a full clear commitment to the bottom lane, and he will pay the price here. He will not lead lap number 3 here of the Bobby Johnson Memorial 250 at Talladega. And now look at Kohlhaas. He swung high there for a moment down there before turn 1. It looked like he was going to go to make a 3 wide, but then he ducked right back in line there behind the number 20 of Luke LaFaro, and they will still continue to ride on that outside lane. It's LaFaro, Kohlhaas, and then Arison. Now here comes Ryan Jones with a huge move out of turn 2 down the backstretch. He'll shoot to the outside to lead that outside charge.
A couple of things might have happened there with Kohlhaas in there in turn 1. Of course, we talk about the temperatures in these cars getting up to above 284, and I've seen it all when it comes to engines here. Sometimes I've seen them blow at 285, and I've seen them live at 310, so you can never tell, and there's really no reason this early to be messing with that. And also, like I talked about before we came on the air, this setup that's provided to these guys is a little bit on the loose side, especially entering the corner. So really no reason to be pushing the envelope too hard.
Yeah, right now pushing the envelope to the outside. It looks like that was the 43 of Craig Learman was 3 wide, and his Coors Light Silver Bullet Machine as he is now to the outside there, and he finds a home behind the 44 of Jason Harrison and onto the outside there of Jim Ott. Coming down through the tri-oval, though, they will be looking to complete another lap. Will that outside lane be able to mount the charge? Kohlhaas way high, running the third lane here around Talladega, if you will, right now. He won't have the momentum across the line, though. It looks like it will go to, once again, actually Ryan Jones edging him out there at the line.
A 4,000th of a second, just that little bit. Although, Steve Schmidt hit the apron a little bit. Well, I was starting to say that inside lane looks a little more organized. Although here comes a big push that LaFaro is given to Jones. And Jones is going to take advantage of that and lead that inside group now and leave LaFaro.
Yeah, it's not a big thing, though, that Jones left LaFaro to the outside by himself, because it's not really all by himself. He has the 43 of Learman right there as they come back out of turn number 3 and 4 there through the tri-oval now, because now LaFaro is going to have the chance. Does he want to try and drop down in front of Jones when he gets the big shove? But we have a huge outside lane run. Comes the number 4 here of Jim Ott to the outside, making it 3 wide on lap 7.
And what I've learned, based on watching some other streams, you don't necessarily have to have that many cars up there in the third lane, as we see Davidson and Steve Schmidt drop below the yellow line to drop to the back. But as far as that third lane, you don't necessarily have to have that many cars. It's just that you got to stay really close to those cars in the middle group to be able to still get the slightest sniff of their draft. Although things have kind of changed up here with Schmidt and Davidson dropping to the back.
Yeah, and Luke LaFaro now assumes the lead here out of the tri-oval. He will, well, I was going to call it he will, but it's a long way till we get down to the start-finish line, and now he officially will lead 1 lap here from Talladega, so notch the young kid out of California a bonus point. That'll pull him even closer now to Jeff Bogo in the point standings, but now Jason Harrison has the lead, and he's being pushed by his teammate of Jim Ott on that outside lane. They got the 44, the 4, and the 49 to the outside, and they're bringing along Corey Blevins also. Now the 44 and the 4 are going to drop down to the inside before they get to turn number 3. Jason Harrison is clear, and now he has the lead and set sail.
I'm curious now that Luke has got that lap lead, whether he's going to say, okay, I got the lap lead, got the bonus point, whether to drop back and conserve it all, but like we said, there's also a bonus point for leading the most laps as well. As a big charge from the outside lane, and Robert Dudley in the 49 will lead that lap.
Robert Dudley in the ALS Association in memory of Penny Machine will go and lead his first lap here from Talladega tonight on lap number 9. And, well, you know what, Taylor? We have a pretty famous guy out there in the chat right now talking about his good old friends that are out here on track. Is BobbIE Johnson, none other, out there in chat watching the memorial race for him. The USRA Cup Series here. Mrs. BobbIE Johnson and all the excitement that he brought to the super speedway races. This was his specialty. He could push like none other out of the corners, and he could get you to the checkered flag first. I can recall, Taylor, he pushed me a handful of times across the line at Talladega and Daytona for a couple wins here at super speedways. But tonight, he's not here on track, but it's all about him still.
Yep, it's all about giving him a good show to watch and the name of the race that's named after him. But checking back on this second pack of guys that started from pit road, see the field down the back straightaway, and these cars, the 6 cars that started from pit road, are actually not really losing much time because they're all grouped up single file for the most part now. But yeah, they're still about 21 seconds behind the leaders, but it's a positive that they're not really losing much ground.
Yeah, and just ahead of them by about, call it about 12 seconds maybe. Not quite, 6 seconds actually. That'll be the number 11 of Steve Schmidt. Remember, he started from the pole here tonight, and then he led a couple laps in the early going, 4 to be exact, and then he dropped down way to the apron. And when he went down to the apron, he had lost all the draft, and this is just how far he has fallen back now. He is 9 seconds between him and your leader now, who is Corey Blevins, as they come down the backstretch. Blevins to the inside now in front of the 4, and the 49 of Dudley to the outside.
They actually tied for the lead on that lap. Literally, the margin there was .000.
Close racing now. Jim Ott, though, going to go back to the outside. He's going to try and work back around this 48 machine here on lap number 11. Still a very long way to go here tonight. 110 laps still left here in your BobbIE Johnson 250. And at the line, once again, it will be the man out of Michigan. It will be Jim Ott coming across the start-finish line first.
Some of our early leaders, like Steve Schmidt, they're just barely hanging on to this pack. Actually, Steve Schmidt has dropped completely back. And he's going to have to wait on the second pack to catch him before he has any help. So I think he saw what he liked when there was nothing in his rearview mirror, but once he got a couple cars in front of him, I don't think he liked what he saw, and he's certainly demonstrating what can happen when you lose the draft.
And looking back off the deck lid here of the number 11, you can barely see way back in the background at the top of the screen the ants marching behind him. That'd be Holly Pogo and Dill back there for the 20th, 21st, and 22nd position. They are still a ways back, but they are starting to come and reel him in. Probably looking at it, probably about 10 miles an hour faster right now than Steve Schmidt is all by himself. You know, it is a really lonely feeling, because even looking at the forward-facing camera off the roof here of the number 11, you can see that other pack just way out in the distance. No help right now for Steve Schmidt as he actually rides the high line. He is hoping that second group can catch him here pretty soon to pick him up.
They should catch him probably another 2 or 3 laps, I would imagine. They're coming to complete lap 13. Should be able to make it to about lap 34, 35 on fuel.
Contact through the tri-oval.
That's a very tough part of the racetrack right there to even run by yourself, because not that much banking there, and that's a pretty sharp turn. And it's really difficult to run side by side through there, and saw a close call, and especially at the front of the field, you don't need to be seeing that. That's might be an invitation to guys to drop even further back from this lead group.
Yeah, looking at those two machines, I'm not sure I see any damage on either the Learman machine or the 49 of Dudley, so I guess no harm, no foul. Rubbin is racing here, and they keep all those cars pointed in the right direction here. We're going to come complete lap number 14. Laps are continuing to count down as they are still 3 wide at the front of the field here. Coming across the line will be Blevins, and that third lane is being led by Big Country Cole Haas in the all bucked up 33. He is all jacked up, and what does he use, ladies and gentlemen? It is all bucked up. Check them out over on Facebook. Get your supplement workout powders now, as that third lane now starts to diminish as they come down the backstretch.
Well, now the 49 moves up there. Three by 3 entering turn 3 up front. Back to Steve Schmidt, the lead, the tail end pack has caught him now and has officially picked him up.
Yeah, it looks like they all had to scatter just a little bit. Dan Dill down there on that yellow line as Holmes and Brown go around him. Schmidt going to look to see if Cody Levitt's going to be able to pick him up. He's going to dive to the inside. He will be picked up between the 81 of Dill and the 38 now of Levitt. So that 6-car train now becomes a 7-car train, but they are trailing your leaders by 17.5 seconds as Blevins is 3 wide here at the front with Ott, and here comes now Dudley with Cole Haas to the outside.
Well, that's a good sign, though, for that second pack. As we said that a few laps ago, they were 21 seconds behind. Now they're 17 behind with an extra car. So, I mean, if they wanted to, they could draft up back to the back of this pack, but that shows that if you want to hang out for a while, you certainly can without losing too much ground, but you still got to be organized back there if that's what you plan on doing.
Yeah, organized it is not here at the front of the field, and it will be Jim Ott leading that last lap with Harris and his teammate pushing him That middle lane now clear of the inside lane. What will they do? They continue to hold the middle groove here as they come out of turn number 2 and start to roar down the backstretch. Here comes the driver of the 3 here tonight. He is listed as the 3 on your timing and scoring. 36 on his car. It is the Sim Speed Shop driver, Jason Eisenhower, with the little logo Linear's Edge on the front nose of that Sim Speed Shop machine. Check them out also over on Facebook. Find what they got in store. They could print out an identical 3D replica here of the Talladega Super Speedway. Some pretty interesting things they can do over there. But right now, Eisenhower has not led a lap here in the early goings, but still over 100 laps. 103 this time by at the line, and it'd be Jim Ott once again leading his 4th lap now here from Talladega.
I've got a group about 4 cars back here, about 15th through 18th. They might have saw that 3-wide action and say, I don't want to be a part of that this early in the race.
Yeah, that group
by Michael Bromley.
Yeah, that group is led by Ricky Bobby Bromley himself in the number 7 Wonder Bread machine. Aaron Davidson right there, along with Donald Bennett and Jared Hadedorn. All 4 of those drivers, it looks like, working a little bit of strategy together. Aaron Davidson also driving one of those Linear Edge sponsored machines here tonight from Talladega. And it doesn't look like, or it does look right in front of these guys. For a second there, it looked like Chase Berry went to the high side as everybody went around him on that bottom groove there. The 2 of Jamie Leach and the number 90 of Michael Sturgill.
Oh gosh. And the 43 and Ryan Jones, that was a very close contact.
Miroslav Mach was sideways. And they saved it. There's some pretty impressive driving right there. Miroslav Mach hung onto that no-bull Ford Mustang. You know, that was so impressive. We're going to actually have to go back and take a quick look and see if we can find or see exactly what happened there. Coming down the backstretch, you see there goes the 43, there goes the 91. And then as the 43 comes back up on track, makes contact with Miroslav. Miroslav may not have been able to see him out of his peripheral vision. And then Miroslav holds it down to the bottom groove, and so does the 91 there of Ryan Jones, and they both enter back onto the track. I don't see too much damage on that 23 Winston number 4.
Well, they all got away with it, but what it looked like to me happened is the 43 was getting a big run on the 48, getting a push from the 91, and then caught him on the right rear side of the bumper. That's what turned him sideways onto the apron, and then trying to blend back into traffic. That's when the 68 nearly bit it, but yeah, great job of these guys staying alive for now. And what it did is it broke up some more cars and separated them from the lead group.
Yeah, and at the front of the field now we had 3 wide last time by, and the inside lane is going to prevail for the time being. The Sim Speed Shop driver out of Pennsylvania takes over the lead here on lap 21. Doesn't have a lap led for himself, though. Can he come back around here and put his name in the book here for tonight? We're going to find out in just about a quarter of a lap here as they work through 3. Now out of turn number 4. They are single file at the front of the field here for your first 2 positions, and then it's 2 by 2. The 3 wide calm down for the moment.
And looks like Eisenhower's going to lead this lap for the first time today.
As looking at it, we're probably looking at maybe about 10 more laps before we possibly can start to think about green flag pit stops here at Talladega. And as the Sim Speed Shop driver is out front, he's probably hitting that button box that the Sim Speed Shop guys make back there in the store. Probably getting all the gauges right. 2-tire stop most likely for a lot of these guys once we get to that point. Probably adjusting the brake bias just a little bit, also adding a little more rear brake so they can get these cars load up under the conditions when they come down pit road, possibly looking at 190 plus miles an hour.
One car down the apron in the back of the field looks like the Donald Bennett machine.
Yeah, Donald Bennett is off the pace by about 20 miles an hour.
He flipped the apron and, boy, had a big-time handful.
Now Bennett will be back to the 18th position and trying to find if he can dig back through the field here now, but it's going to take some drafting help, and the help behind him is about 9 seconds back to him. And the front pack in front of him is sitting at about, I believe it's 6 seconds out in front of him now, so he's going to have to wait a little bit till he can find some help. Out front, though, it is still Jason Eisenhower leading the pack here. That outside lane, I believe that is the 64 here of John Mullins is trying to come up here with his all-green heavy Chevy. He's got a good pusher behind him. It's the 4 of Jim Ott and then the 4 of Jason Arison.
Told you he'd find his way up to the front before too long.
Yeah, here comes that big heavy Chevy. Can he get it through to the point, though, here tonight? A bunch of Chevys here in your top 6.
Of course, Mullins missed the last race at Sonoma, which dropped him out of the top 10 in points. He's sitting 11th. Like we said, Rogers guy's about 10 laps away from pit stops. Pretty much a 3-stop race.
Yeah, it's if it goes green from start to finish, it's going to be a 3-stop race. I don't think you're going to be able to actually, even if we get a ton of yellows, that you would be able to just make it in a 2-stop race. You're going to have to stop for a splash of gas either way towards the end of this one. At the front now, before Ott goes to the high side and Big Country, Cole Haas is going with him. So that's going to leave right now for the time being. Mullins by himself. Jason Harrison, though, would be the next car to him as he has now started to close in on the back bumper of that green 64 machine.
Donald Bennett, after that big moment, turn 4, having to collect the car off the apron, is just now waiting for that last pack to catch up to him.
Yeah, it was a pack of 7. Could possibly work out here in Bennett's favor that they are behind him. It could be a pack of 8 here in just a moment. They have started to reel back in your leaders. Remember your leaders as I think something connection issue possibly with the 4 of Jim Ott. I don't see him in our timing and scoring for the moment. See if he does fall back in line here. Sometimes, iRacing with the internet-based simulator here. Sometimes if guys' connections aren't perfect, but they have a little bit of connection.
Looking at his quality, he is dropping and dropping quickly. Boy, what a shame that would be if he ends up getting kicked. He was giving a big push to the 44 of Jason Arison, and they looked like they were going to go to the front. I'm afraid that Jim Ott is no longer in the session. Quality's down into the 20s.
That's unfortunate out for the driver out on Michigan. Number 4.
Yep, there he goes. Officially throughputed. He's led the most laps up to this point. I mean, hopefully you can get back into the session without losing too many laps.
Right now, though, still out front, leading the second most laps here tonight. Jason Eisenhower continuing to lead in front of the 48 of Blevins. Eisenhower is leaving that inside lane open for Blevins to be able to see the corner. That's something that's really important. These cars have huge, big spoilers on the back. Yes, part of it is clear, but there is still a large portion of that spoiler that is not clear. And with the big, call them greenhouse here on these Cup cars, it is still hard to see around to where the corner is if you're tucked up right underneath somebody. And Eisenhower leaving that little bit of a gap for Blevins if he needs it to be able to see. This time in one, though, he is off to the right side of that car, not being able to see the corner. And just at that point, following in the wake of that number 3 down into turn number 1.
That's what kind of led to that earlier deal between Ryan Jones and Corey Blevins. Like that's the thing. Like you can push the car in front of you, but you can't see the second car in front of the car you're pushing. So you got to really be on your toes. As we see, Jim Ott has reconnected to the server right now. Scored 1 lap down. Needs some yellows, though, to get himself back in contention.
Yeah, and that's the thing, though. Jim Ott may have lost connection and has lost a couple laps here. Talladega, it takes, just shy of 50 seconds, call 50 seconds in average lap time here around the super speedway. So with him dropping out, he won't lose that many laps, But another good thing is he has a teammate that's still up here in the front of the field. Jim Ott may not be in contention anymore to win this himself, but he could still push his teammate, Jason Harrison, if he can get back out there and link up with him. He could push him to the win yet tonight. Right now, Harrison is shown in the 5th spot as Kohlhaas goes to the outside in turn 3 for him.
Luckily for Ott, right now, everybody else is on the lead lap. Still waiting for him to appear on track. But he can get back out here and get a few yellows without anybody else going a lap down. I mean, I might not write him off just yet. If he can get back on the lead lap, he's shown he's got the aggression and the speed to end up here towards the front, because started back in 22nd, and all of a sudden before lap 6 or 7 we saw him up in the front.
Yeah, and a couple of your front runners right now are Eisenhower out front, Blevins right there in second. Then it's Mullins, Learman, Harrison, Dudley, Kohlhaas, Leach, Berry, and Sturgill. Those are your 10 drivers here in the front pack, and tailing this little bit of a front pack. This, we'll call it an 11-car pack because Luke LaFaro actually is right there on the bumper of Michael Sturgill. So 11 cars within 1 second of your leader. And then 14 seconds back is being led by the driver of this Linear Edge 03 machine, Aaron Davidson. Jared Hagedorn, Miroslav Mach is back here in his Noble 23. Then it's Michael Bromley, Ryan Jones, Eric Holly, Jeff Pogo. They have all now run down that second pack, and they have formed one big pack back here behind your leaders. 15 seconds back, and now look for that to start to drop down.
It's been all, it's like 12 or 13 of those cars are single filed. Not only is it the best way to catch the field, but it's also, coming up on pit stops. No reason back here to be double file racing each other when you're going to have to turn a left on the pit road in the next 4 or 5 laps. And same with the guys up in the front pack. You're going to see these guys. There's only a couple cars up there on the outside lane right now. They're getting ready for their green flag pit stop, and like we said, Roger, it could be treacherous if we have a lot of people coming down at one time, trying to get slowed down from 190 miles an hour to 55.
Yeah, you can bet yourself right now, though, that those guys that are towards the back, and here they come. Eric Holly, Jeff Pogo, Steve Holmes, Dan Dill, all the Ford drivers. A couple Chevys also mixed in there with Levitt, Brown, and Schmidt. Here comes Jim Ott also. He is coming down pit road. Maybe he's going to get on the same page with these guys. He knows they were just out in front of him. Oh, Eric Holly makes a mistake. He misses his pit stall. That's going to be huge, and then almost actually runs into the side there of the 11 of Schmidt. So now Holly going to have to go back out onto the track and come back around. That could be detrimental here for the driver of the number 8.
Oh, that's a really tough situation there. Came in here third in points. Actually, Jim Ott is disconnected again from the server. I guess he's called in a night, but yeah, so Holly, he's going to have to rely on a caution flag.
And here's your onboard camera with Holly coming back down pit road. He goes to turn in.
More drivers on the pit road.
Sees the 24 stall, doesn't see his, and just absolutely misses his stall back out onto the track. He's going to have to go, and just going to waste a lot of time here for Eric Holly tonight as he'll try and find his way onto pit road maybe next time by. A couple other takers down pit road, though, and that will include the 03 of Davidson. 91 here is also on pit road. Here comes the 31 of Donald Bennett.
Comes
And now
everybody else. Oh, gosh, we got a spinner. Keeps it off the inside wall. That's Jamie Leach in the number 2. Wow, he was lucky not to back into the wall or slide into the side of the 49 car of Dudley. But John Mullins and Michael Sturgill, the only two that did not come down pit road with these drivers.
Let's go back here and see what happened to Jamie Leach. This is him coming off turn number 4, trying to get onto pit road. There you saw Eric Holly down in front of that group. It looks like, just wheel hops the car and sideways it goes. I don't think he actually touches anything. Good driving by Jamie Leach. Maybe just lost a little bit of time, and he's going to have to check his shorts, but he is back out on track, and he might be shy of actually staying in that draft behind Luke LaFaro. 2 seconds back coming out of pit road. We'll see We'll see where he actually funnels out. Does he lose the draft as John Mullins and Michael Sturgill will come down here onto pit road. So that will complete. And then once these two drivers get their tires changed and full tank of fuel back out there, that should turn things over to Jason Harrison is coming onto pit road. It looks like maybe a possible penalty for the 44 of Harrison. Now Eisenhower will be that next car approaching him. Actually, it looks like Jason Harrison missed his pit stall also.
Comes Mullins and Sturgill back out, but we're talking about that brake bias. Be wise to increase it, trying to get on the pit road. It looks like that's what might have happened there with Jamie Leach, but still a tremendous job. Not panic and stay off the inside wall and not get into the side of anybody else, particularly the 49 car of Dudley.
Yeah, that's probably one of the best saves that we have seen here, definitely with the USRA at least, is somebody coming on the pit road and not hitting the wall and not taking out one of his competitors, and he looped it around and just kept on going like it was a normal pit entry. And after all the green flag pit cycle through, throw the timing and scoring back up onto the top of the screen here. Find where your favorite driver is, and now officially running because it is Jason Eisenhower, Sim Speed Shop driver. Excuse me. But it's Eisenhower out front, Learman in second. Blevins will now be third, and Eric Holly, who is the fourth car in line there, is shown one lap down.
Well, if you recall the real-life NASCAR race at Talladega in April, the same driver, that number 2, Brad Keselowski, made a pretty gnarly pit entry as well, so maybe he was trying to imitate him, although I highly doubt it. But like you said, the only problem is he's lost the draft of the cars in front of him. He's still running in 10th place, but he's about 5 seconds back of the last car in that draft, which is Michael Sturgill. So he's going to have to wait. Oh, wow, he's got to wait about 11 seconds for Steve Holmes, Jeff Pogo, and Aaron Davidson and the rest of that group to catch him.
Yeah, I'm looking at this number 2 car now. I'm not sure if I see a little rear end damage on the bumper of that car or not. It could be just the way the spec map is. But Jamie Leach, though, is definitely running in the 10th spot. He is 10 seconds off your leader, and then about 8 seconds behind him till the pack of Stephen Holmes and Jeff Pogo, and, well, the slew of the field is back there, everybody else.
Eric Holly, he's the third car in line. Of course, he's a lap down after missing his pit box. He's in the best spot to get the lucky dog because Jason Harrison has actually just now come to the trioval while the field's going to catch him in a few laps, which would put him 2 down.
Yeah, Jason Harrison doesn't want to go 2 laps down here in the early going. He led a handful of laps here tonight, and now is shown 1 lap down after missing his pit stall, and his teammate of Jim Ott has officially disconnected, and he has loaded up the 4 car. He is out of here on his way to Pocono International Raceway earlier than he wanted to. He came into the night, thought he had a really good shot, and Jason Harrison thought with the help of his teammate he was going to have, a good night. He does have technically one more teammate out there. It'll be the number 10 of Chase Berry, and he is right here in this top pack. He is that 10 car to the outside. He is the second car to the outside in the all-black number 10 Pure Inc.
Well, that outside line got a huge head of steam down the back straightaway, and they're organized a lot better than that inside group is right now. Luke Lafaro right behind Chase Berry, who ducks his nose out a little bit, probably to get some air. Oh, is there enough room between Dudley? Well, Eisenhower looked like he was trying, almost drove up his left rear quarter panel, but they sorted it out, and 49 back to the front.
Yeah, so
and
now
coming up on Harrison, about 2 more laps.
see the 10 of Chase Berry now nose ahead here as they come down the backstretch into turn number 3. Chase Berry will now go to the point, but can he lead a lap? He has the strong pusher here of Luke Lafaro behind him, and then it's your pick. John Mullins is right there on that high line, also in the all-green Chevrolet.
Chase Berry coming off that terrific run at the Sonoma road course with a runner-up finish, and he'll lead this lap. And of course, he finished top 5 at Daytona after starting back in 27.
And here comes that Mullins machine. He dives down to the bottom with a little bit of a run. He doesn't have anybody pushing him right now, but possibly going to be able to use this lap car as a little bit of a pick. But your outside leaders could go up there and take the draft from the 44 of Harrison. And that's exactly what Chase Berry is doing. He is going up the track a little bit, stays away from that inside lane. They sniff a little bit of the draft as they head down through into turn 3. It will be the 10, the 20, the 33, and then it will be shown the 64 of John Mullins as the 20 and the 10 drop down to the inside lane.
Car they're going to catch will be Donald Bennett in the 31 car. That's going to be critical for Eric Holly because technically Bennett is still on the lead lap. So if Bennett gets lapped and stays around in this group, he would have to race him for the lucky dog and try to, try not to wreck the field as a lap car in the middle of all these lead lap cars.
Yeah, that's going to be difficult because right behind them, that front group, they are 3 wide as you look off the back deck lid there. Let's focus back in here on your leaders because here comes the Buck 33 here of Cole Haas with a push from the number 8 of Eric Holly. Cole Haas goes to the lead, and he doesn't want to leave Holly. He stays up there. Holly almost comes down onto the number 10 of Barry. Almost making contact there in turn number 4, but they gather them all up there. They kept them pointed straight. Now through the tri-oval, the treacherous tri-oval where there are some bumps down there on that inside line. And it looks like Chase Berry will lead another lap here from the Talladega Superspeedway.
For you Jamie Leach fans, after that bonsai pit road entrance a few laps ago, he has been run down by that second pack and has joined them. He's right now in 19th position. But at least he has a big group of cars to draft with as opposed to a few laps ago.
Yeah, he is tagged in there into the 19th spot right ahead of Dan Dill. A couple drivers who have lost the draft will be the 7 of Michael Bromley and then the 31 of Donald Bennett. And Bennett is, you can see them right there at the top of the screen. Bennett is starting to really get run down by your leaders. They may be 2-3 wide up here as you see him really start to fan out through this large tri-oval. But they are nonetheless running down Bennett like a freight train.
Curious to see where Bennett goes because 44 go high, but sometimes some drivers are stubborn enough to just stay down there on the bottom. Guys have really got to work together and communicate with one another on what they plan on doing. And looks like Bennett's staying low and everyone else moves up to the second lane.
Yeah, Donald Bennett will stay down there with his brightly colored orange machine as your leaders will now work around the outside. Cole Haas is going to be stuck to the outside 3 wide when they get to Bennett here, but they will make it work. Learman holds that middle groove. Holly now, though, and Bennett are going to be battling it out here in this front pack to see who is the lucky dog machine. There you see the number 8 to the outside. He is the 4th car to the outside. Bennett is going to be the 5th car to the inside lane. They will battle it out to see who can stay here in this pack and battle for the lucky dog, or maybe possibly go up there and arm wrestle your leaders here and get their lap back the old-fashioned hard way.
On another few laps, they're going to have the 7 of Michael Bromley. He's going to be lapped here in another 3 or 4 laps, so they'll have to fight him as well for this lucky dog. As we still have been crossing free in the first 44 laps, about a third the way done. A 9-car lead pack with a couple of lap cars sprinkled in, and second pack about 10th or about 20th.
Where is that second pack, you ask? The 10th place machine is the 24 of Jeff Pogo, and there you see the rest of the field lined up behind him right there on screen. That is about 10th all the way back to about, call that the 21st or 20th position. So 10 cars in this pack back here. And they are just single file trying to run down your leaders. Jeff Pogo, Holmes, Brown, as you see, the 9 of Holmes now going to leapfrog. He's going to go back. Dill also in here. A lot of these drivers started from pit road here tonight and tried to run down the leaders. The closest they have got was about 14 seconds out. Right now they are hovering right around the 18-second gap distance between Michael Sturgill, who is 9th, all the way back to Jeff Pogo. So that's still a lot of ground. Technically, they haven't really been able to run them down, even though they have more cars back here lined up single file.
I think they're in okay position, although we see Ryan Jones drift up high. I'm gonna get to the very back of this lead group, it appears. They're still counting on something in front of them big to happen.
And it could possibly happen because they are working up on the lap down car here of Michael Bromley. He is on the lead lap. He will officially go 1 lap down. So we have 3 drivers now shown in the 1 lap down category. All your leaders, though, are working their way around the 7 as he stays to the outside groove here, not trying to interfere with your leaders because if something would happen with a lap down car, I'm sure they'd feel absolutely crushed. And, well, Bromley stays to the outside, and everybody wanders right on around them. Jason Harrison is sprinkled in here, talked about one of those lap cars. Harrison missing his pit stall, then having to come back down. He has now shown 2 laps down inside this lead pack here. Not battling for the lucky dog, but just trying to stay up here with the draft so he doesn't lose and fall farther behind than he needs to be.
Eric Holly, he looks like he's interested in trying to maybe get his lap back the old-fashioned way. He's pushing old Big Country Kohlhaas on the outside with the 49 stuck in the middle. Oh, he scraped the wall a little bit. Didn't really lose much speed as he tried to follow the 33's tracks. Now the 31 pulls ahead of him to the first car a lap down.
Yeah, so that was a big moment there, not only for Kohlhaas, it was a big moment for Holly, because Holly could have got taken out in that, and then, you know, that lucky dog wouldn't have mattered at all. Now it's going to be the 31 of Bennett who goes to the fourth car to that inside lane. He is shown your first car 1 lap down. He has a little bit of a cushion right now between him and Eric Holly if the caution were to fly. But right now it is green as could be, and it is all green out front. It is the John Mullins 64 bow tie brigade leading the way here. Not quite to the halfway marker, still rough, about, call it a rough 30 laps. I'm sorry, 20 laps. I can't even do the math right now. I'm watching too much here.
Laps. How
about 12 laps? We'll call it 12. Also possibly looking at about 15 laps before the next green flag pit cycle start here. But here comes the ALS machine. Robert Dudley to the outside, and he's got Kohlhaas now pushing him, and Kohlhaas ducks out of line here. Coming through the trial with drag race. It'll be Dudley at the line.
And once that second lane, when someone puts someone 3 wide on the top, immediately the advantage goes back to the inside. Just because it takes a while to get reorganized. We saw Kohlhaas make that move. I mean, if nobody goes with him, it causes a whole lot of havoc up there, and the inside will continue to prevail if that keeps happening.
Yeah, now they're going to put Robert Dudley in the 49, possibly in the middle, because the Sim Speed Shop driver of Eisenhower went to the outside. He jumped up in front of Kohlhaas and Holly, also to the outside lane of the Wonder Bread machine. I wonder what he's drinking tonight, and that is the 7 of Bromley, and now he's going to be joined out there with the California kid of LaFaro, so they're put 5 jokers to the outside, 3 hooked up on the bottom there with Bennett counted as the 4th car, and now Dudley. I'm pretty impressed how that 49 Toyota is able to hold the middle groove here and stay right where he is with this pack.
A big head of steam with Kohlhaas and Eisenhower and Eric Holly on the outside. They're going to blow by John Mullins. Now they come apart. Like, you can only stay pushing for so long before the engine the temperatures begin to skyrocket.
Kohlhaas pushed that 30 or that 36 or well over 3, depending on the number you see there, down to that inside lane, call it the second groove, and then he went right back up to the outside, and now he'll join his teammate, the number 7 of Bromley, still on the 3rd lane. Eric Holly has got shuffled down to the middle group, but Donald Bennett has now lost a little bit of ground, so it is Holly in the lucky dog spot, now Bennett, and then Bromley. All 3 of those cars right there, 1 lap down, battling in this pack to try and see who can stay there ahead of the next. And right now, it is shown as Eric Holly in that position. Looking at the time.
Corey Blevins is being very committed to that 64 Mullins, those pair of Chevys in the front. Because there's been a couple opportunities where the outside line has gotten some momentum where he could have gone up there and taken it himself, but he's being... I don't know if he's just being committed to the 64, or maybe he's just trying to just ride and lock lines.
Yeah, that inside lane, you haven't seen much movement out of the three of them since they have got down there nose to tail. Mullins, Blevins, and Learman just riding nose to tail out of the Chevy group. And that outside lane, everybody has tried to go around them. They get there, they hit the wall, and then they fall. They're not literally hit the wall, but they hit the wall of air, and then just straight back they go. Now here they come again. Here comes Jason Eisenhower, and then to the outside, here comes Cole Haas. Just once that third lane deteriorates, if they come apart, then the whole run just falls apart. Checking up, though, on the 10th position of Jeff Pogo. He is still sitting 17.8 seconds off your leaders here, so they have not gained anything, even though your leaders are 3 wide.
They're still relying on some mayhem up in the front and caution to catch back up. And starting to get it here as Eisenhower pulls almost even with Mullins.
As they do that, they stick Holly to the outside lane all by himself. That's a lonely feeling. Then also being dumped up to the outside lane and nowhere to go. Now they're going to go. Now they're going to go with Dudley to the outside lane, and Cole Haas giving him a huge head of steam into turn 3. It will be Robert Dudley passing the 3 of Eisenhower down there, and he'll jump down. Now Cole Haas has to rely on his teammate of Bromley to push him that outside lane. As soon as the 49 of Dudley jumped down, the momentum just went away, and it will be John Mullins coming to the trial one. It looks like he's going to lead possibly his 11th straight lap now out front in his green machine.
I remember John Mullins went 1 extra lap on fuel as compared to the rest of the competition, both he and Michael Sturgill. Oh boy. A lot of shuffling up in that second and third groove. They're going to hang Dudley in the middle. Again, look what it does. That inside lane just continues to keep inching forward with those guys jockeying around up there.
The trial will all spread out, still 3 wide through this pack of cars here at the line. Give it to the green machine once again. Mullins going to lead his 12th official lap out front. Blevins, Dudley, Cole Haas, and Learman, your top drivers here tonight. 66 laps to go here from Talladega.
They just seem very a little seem to be a little confused on who they want leading that second line, because every time they get a run up there, the other one puts the other car in front of them 3 wide. Like, a couple times it's been Cole Haas in front and Dudley puts him 3 wide and vice versa. If they keep doing that, I mean, they're not really gonna. It's not really benefiting them.
Yeah, shuffle, shuffle, shuffle the deck. They are right now. Michael Sturgill just hanging out back here in the number 90 machine, just hanging out to the tail end.
I mean, unless they know something and I don't, maybe for later on, but I just don't really see that working. Oh gosh! Bromley gets spun back into the field and no caution. He slams the inside wall. No caution should come out as he's down on the apron of the track.
Yeah, the Wonder Bread machine going around. He was a lap down in the lead pack. We'll go back. We're trying to find what happened. As we go over top, he was trying to follow his teammate, the 33, watching those outside cars there. Watching the second car to the outside. That's the number 7 of Michael Bromley, who was 1 lap down trying to stay in the lucky dog position. What happened down the backstretch? Here they come out of turn number 2. Watching the Wonder Bread car. He follows the 7. Oh, it looks like the car just got arrow loose, and Holly actually made contact with Bromley.
Yeah, he hit him pretty heavily in the right front. That's really not going to be good for Eric Holly at all.
Yeah, we're looking at this 8 machine here. Let's see, maybe we can possibly find a very close picture. There it is. You can see the damage on the nose of the 8 of Eric Holly. He has damage in that car. Looking at the speed, is sitting roughly about 4 or 5 miles an hour or slower than the guys who are out in front of him now.
Michael Bromley's got enough damage. Oh, they're wrecking again! Oop.
The Sim
Jason
Speed Shop
Eisenhower, LaFleur
36.
misses it.
Eisenhower is around. Dudley has gone around. I believe Blevins also down on the apron. We'll have to see where this actually all started.
Well, this started up with Corey Blevins. Looks like drifts up. Again, that triangle just drifts up just ever so slightly off that yellow line. Kind of similar to Ernie Irvin, Sterling Marlin, 1996 here. But, just got him right around the triangle. Jason Eisenhower nowhere to go. Luke LaFaro was able to sneak by without any issues. Big for him, as well as Jeff Pogo, as the second pack got what they wanted. That was a caution flag to catch back up.
And there you see the contact between the 48 and the 49. Eisenhower nowhere to go, gets wrapped up in that. The 48 of Blevins carries on down the raceway and is able to keep it going, but a lot of damage for the 49 of Dudley, also the Sim Speed Shop 36 machine.
Like Corey Blevins, after he drifted up into the 49 car, looks like got some damage on his front end as well. He got knocked into the grass. Pretty amazing though, Roger, that more cars weren't involved.
Yeah, where that happened coming through the trial, well, everybody able to scatter. Donald Bennett shot the gap and ended up missing a couple of them, and Bennett then will be rewarded with being the lucky dog, so he'll get back onto the lead lap, so lucky for him.
You actually look at the rear chase of the Blevins car, actually a slight bit ago, but it looked like that contact was going to take place anyway. And how about the miss by a big country Kohlhaas, as well as the 43 of Lehrman, as the C's parted for them just in the nick of time. Comes the field down pit road. To catch up to the scoring here.
Yeah, it looks like Levitt and Dill did come down pit road, but they either missed their pit stall or just carried on rolling through. Bennett, while he got the wave around, came back around and quickly snuck a lap lead in for the driver of the 31 out of Topton, Pennsylvania, the Turn 3 Racing Network machine. So Bennett will get credited with a lap. We know that's what Levitt was staying out there to do. But as these drivers all work through this yellow flag, we're going to step away here for a moment, and we'll be back here with the Bobby Johnson Memorial 250 right here from the Talladega Superspeedway.
Simulated racing can be awesome, but it can also be kind of a free-for-all. Interestingly, auto racing faced the same problem in its earlier days. Whether it was on the back roads, the beaches, or the city streets, the racing was always fun. But there was always a certain level of chaos or danger until some folks came along and put some order to all of this. Stuff like official racetracks, regulations about weight and equipment, and enforcement of standards. That's what gave us high-speed excitement, fast-paced action, and photo finishes. That's when racing became racing. The guys over at iRacing.com have made the same transformation in the world of sim racing. See, iRacing analyzes the performance and results of each driver in every race, so you can be sure you're always placed in races where the competition will be tight and that those reckless drivers who ruin it for us all will be kept in the pits. Not to mention that with members in over 130 countries already in their vast community, you can find races day and night, so you can always get in the action. You can even join a league of your favorite series and work your way up to one of 7 world championships, offering over $500,000 in prize money. And since updates are always automatic, you don't have to worry about software and can focus on the track. Zip up your fire suit and check out iRacing.com.
Well, welcome back here, race fans, to the Talladega Speedway. And actually, I forgot to do something. Give us 1 second. And now we're back here at Talladega as all these drivers are coming down pit road. They are topping off the fuel tanks. Cole Haas, Mullins, though, along with Learman and Jones, Sergio LaFaro, Dudley all stay out here. They are not coming back down pit road. Remember, Robert Dudley, though, was wrapped up in that wreck. He does have a front clip back on the front nose of this 49 machine, but I'm not sure it's going to be able to dance as well as he thinks it will be in the draft.
Probably not, as several of these cars have suffered quite a bit of damage over these last few laps, and one of them is standing by with Roger, Michael Bromley, in the 7 car.
Yeah, we caught up with the driver of the number 7 of Michael Bromley. Michael, what happened there coming out of turn 2 as you were racing with the leader trying to get your lap back?
Yeah, you know, just out there trying to help my teammates out. I was a lap down, as you said, so just really trying to give them a push, give them the runs that they need. And the new Aero update on this package is unpredictable and sent me around.
Yeah, so it looks like a lot of damage to that number 7 Wonder Bread machine. Are you out of this race officially done here from Talladega for the night?
Yeah, I got 10 minutes of required and 11 of optional on top of that, so I'm gonna sit in the pits, watch my boys go out there, hopefully a win for Bohica Nation, and yeah.
Well, the Bromley Design Stable still has 1 car at least left here at the front of the field. It'll be the all bucked up 33 here of Ira Cole Haas, as he is your leader here from the Talladega Super Speedway. It officially get the 1 to go marker as you see them double it up here, so it will be Cole Haas Mullins. Then it'll be Learman, Sturgill, Jones, LaFaro, and Eric Holly looks like he is being shown one lap down. He'll be the fourth car to the outside lane.
Right now, there's look at all these cars on the inside lane after topping off with fuel.
Yeah,
There's Holly and Jason Eisenhower. They'll be the ones racing for the lucky dog. Although they're both got some damage to their cars, particularly Eisenhower, as the green comes back out.
As the green flag drops back up through the gears they come. Cole Haas coming up the track. They're trying to side draft that 40 or the 64 of Mullins down into turn one, and it looks like I got a couple guys down off the pace as they are a little slower with the damage on their cars.
And Jason Eisenhower included. I think he realized right away that he wasn't going to be able to maintain up there, so classy decision to not get in these guys' way and influence them in a bad way, I guess I should say. So up front, Cole Haas that's the 43 of Lehrman. And I believe he's going to lead this time around. We were talking during the commercial break, Roger, that those guys that were hanging back who started from pit road, expect them to turn up the wick a little bit and stay up here in this front pack.
Yeah, one of those drivers that was out towards the back of the field is the number 11 of Steve Schmidt. Remember, he was your pole setter here tonight that fell to the back of the field after leading a couple laps, lost the draft, wound up falling all the way back to, if you can, the third pack at one time, who formed up then to be one big super pack as pack number 2, is now running in the 6th spot. Another one of those drivers that was way back there is the 38 of Cody Levitt. He is now on the outside lane, and he's got Steve Schmidt, another one of those guys who started from pit road and were in the 3rd pack, 17+ seconds back behind your leaders. They are here, and now coming back up through the field, and I see the number 2, there he is, the inside here of Holmes, running in the 12th position as Aaron Davidson is down off the racing surface onto the apron, maybe trying to get away from that front pack.
Cole Haas and Sturgill hooked up to the outside. Another guy that we kind of keep my eye on here is Ryan Jones, who was up in the front for a little while, and then had that close call on the backstretch with Mock. Then drifted back there to kind of catch his breath and cool his jets, but now he's down on the inside and looking to get his way up towards the front again.
And Holly gonna go slice and dice here, trying to get his lap back. Holly with the we're calling it the save big money at Menards move of the race here, as Mullins not gonna have anything to do with it. He goes right to the outside. He knows Holly has some nose damage on that Ford Mustang, and now he'll put Holly back a lap down, and now Holly's gonna fall because here comes the 43 of Learman to the outside. And contact! Holly's gonna be involved here. Contact Cole Haas and the 43. Other guys involved. It looks like the 2 of Jamie Leach is involved in this one, and I think the 3811 also making contact as his hood is going off the 7.5 brewing machine.
Still trying to get control, but Jamie Leach didn't survive that one. But boy, what a costly set of circumstances there, as Eric Holly trying to be aggressive and get this lap back the old-fashioned way, but problem is with that damage, with the car with front-end damage is not going to be able to lead the pack very well, so those guys didn't want anything to do with that, trying to force their way in front of them and got crossed up.
Wind it back here on the replay so you can watch as the 43, the 33, and the 8 are 3 wide down here going into turn 3. Cole Haas possibly, it looks like, just maybe didn't know that they were 3 wide at the time. And Luke LaFaro with nowhere to go in the DC Solar Rev Toyota. He gets involved, one of your championship contenders, and Jeff Pogo actually came to a sliding stop just about on the banking there.
Wow. I didn't see LaFaro that first time around, but yeah, that car is pretty, that doesn't look good.
throw it backward. Go from the blimp camera if you
He
can
actually,
here.
he actually had to tow his car, so. Big moment in this championship, perhaps right here, right now. LaFaro doesn't survive this crash, but Jeff Pogo does. Like you said, basically locked it down almost to a full stop.
Now things will change and the field will split here. Some will stay out, some will come down. See who all ended up staying out here. It looks like John Mullen, Steve Schmidt, Ryan Jones, Blevins also staying out here, Sturgill, and Miroslav Mach all staying out. Everybody else down pit road. Bennett, Davidson, Dill, Brown, Cole Haas obviously involved in that wreck. Dudley, Pogo, Holmes, Leach involved in that. Barry's down pit road also.
And this guy stayed out because right now it's still a one-stop race regardless if you pit here or not. Lucky Dog is actually going to go to Jason Ayerson, getting one of his 2 laps back. Jason Eisenhower actually just pulled down pit road when that caution came out for that crash. So big break for the 44 after that issue on pit road earlier.
Just over the halfway point here tonight for the Bobby Johnson Memorial tonight, presented by Jared Hagedorn. Well, what do you say we dial up the driver of that 22 and see what he has to say here in the race that he named after one of his good old friends here while we're under caution? Let's see if we can dial him up. Jared Hagedorn got a copy. It's Muth up here in the booth. Along with me, it's the Butcher himself.
Yeah, I got a copy. How you doing?
Well, we're doing pretty good out there, my friend. Right now, your strategy is hanging out back there. Looks like it's going to play off huge here as a bunch of your competitors were wrapped up in that last wreck.
Yeah, I just try to have a car at the end. Can't win it if you don't have a car at the end. So.
And right now, you have a pretty beautifully clean Ford Mustang here, running in the 10th position. But how about it? Did you know that your good old friend of Bobby Johnson's out there in chat tonight?
I did not. I didn't know if he'd show up, but I'm sure glad that he did, and I'm gonna try to get him a victory.
Yeah, you're gonna try and get him a victory, but also give you a little more insider information. That thanks for the kind words, that I may be back this summer.
I really, really hope so.
Well, there you heard it from one of Bobby Johnson's good old friends tonight, being sponsored by the driver of this 22 of Jared Hagedorn in memory, or in memorial, I guess you want to say here, of Bobby Johnson. Right now, Jared Hagedorn will come down pit road, and it looks like he's going to pull her up with some Sunoco race fuel and put some right side tires at least on this 22 machine.
And if you go back and look at how Jared weaved his way through that crash, it was one of those Casey Kerwin Moses moments, as he was well back of the beginning of that, but then as cars began to crash on the inside of them, a couple cars, Cole Haas slid down off the banking, LaFaro stayed up towards the wall, and he just calmly drove through the middle of that. Not a scratch on that 22 car, like you said.
Oh, while we're still pacing here under yellow with the lights on, the iRacing pace car still on. Let's see if we can dial up one of your championship contenders who is wrapped up in that wreck. Let's see if we can dial up the number 20 of Luke LaFaro here. Luke, you got a copy?
Yeah, I gotcha.
Well, Luke, it looks like a bunch of damage on this DC Solar Rev machine. How much damage is done? As you're 2 laps down right now, will you be able to get it back out onto the racetrack?
Unfortunately, a lot. Unfortunately, after the wreck, my car got stuck between the banking and the flat part of the racetrack, so I had a 3-minute tow, and I have about 6 minutes of optional, so it's gonna be a little bit.
Yeah, I was wondering what was going on there. It looked kind of bizarre, but saw some stuff going on at the front of the field with Eric Holly trying to get his lap back the old-fashioned way. What did you see?
I haven't seen much, but it looked like more of a racing incident to me, but it sucks because I thought I had a pretty fast car, so.
Yeah, I honestly thought you were doing the right thing by trying to stay up towards the front the best you can, but I guess that's plate racing for you, I guess, bud.
Yeah, it's I'm a little disappointed too.
Yeah, we still got a few more races going to Pocono next week. How do you feel about the Tricky Triangle?
I feel pretty good. That's one of my best tracks, so I'm looking forward to that one.
We
Well,
see you about to pull back onto the racetrack. I'll let you go get back to work. Hopefully that car is... Sure, it might be off the pace a little bit, but hopefully you can at least maintain speed and see if you can maybe pick up some freebies if these guys continue to crash each other.
Yeah, that's all I could hope right now.
All right, we'll put you back down, bud.
All right.
Well, Taylor, you know one good thing here for Luke LaFaro is he's going to head to Pocono next week. He says it's one of his favorite tracks, but probably the best news that Luke LaFaro is going to hear is he doesn't have to mess with me over at Pocono, because not only is that my home stomping grounds, I know a thing or two about getting myself around there as long as Chris Brown is not around me. And, well, the rest of the drivers out here know about that.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a story there that I haven't heard of, but getting back to this championship thing, at least this car is still rolling. He's being scored 2 laps down right now, and Jeff Pogo still has to get through the rest of this race.
Yeah, he's back down pit road. He was just topping off his 24 machine, and was still with 51 laps to go. He will not be able to make it on the tank of fuel that he has on the 24 car right now, so he will have to make one more pit stop here. It'll be 50 laps to go when we go back green flag racing, and it'll be the green machine that's going to lead us back there. It'll be Mullins and Schmidt. Blevins on the second row there. He'll actually start 4th. Timing and scoring is a little incorrect there. It'll be Ryan Jones in 3rd, Blevins in 4th. Then it will be the 2368 here of Miroslav Mach, and then Robert Dudley with his tore-up ALS Association car will start 6th. Michael Sturgill is scheduled to roll 7th, and then it's going to be the 43 of Craig Learman. 9th is Donald Bennett, and I think the Turn 3 Racing Network 31 machine actually still looks pretty clean, but so does the guy who's going to start there in 10th of Dan Dill.
And so I think Jeff Pogo, his strategy right now is, since he knows that his closest rival in the points is pretty well torn up, I mean, I don't think he'll have any interest at all going to the front of the field until literally about 2 or 3 laps to go.
2 to 3 laps to go is a long way from now.
Yeah. But, I mean, that's basically knows that he gets up there too early, and we'll just have to see what he does. But anyway, John Mullins and Steve Schmidt on the front row for this restart with 50 laps to go.
Green flag back in the air here at Talladega. 50 laps to go. Put it on the board right now. Everybody is down on the way, and it looks like a pretty clean start. Chris Brown going to be the first one to jump to the outside lane here to possibly try and work around a lot of these slower cars. But Luke LaFaro is up there in that 3rd lane. Chris Brown going to have to dive back down and see if he can find another way around some of these guys. But out front, it is 2-car tandems, if you will, for the first 6 spots. It is Mullins and then Jones down on the bottom, and then to the outside, here comes the number 11 of Steve Schmidt, and the 48 of Gordon Blevins, Miroslav Mach, and then the number 90 of Sturgill also in tow.
That was a tough break for Luke LaFaro, having to, not just the damage, but having to getting stuck down on that apron between the apron and the banking, and having to tow his car that way, because I was wondering why he had to tow, because it didn't look like he had any engine damage, but now we know why. I'm not sure who that was that came just down pit road right there.
That was the 43 of Craig Learman and the number 20
that is Luke LaFaro on pit road.
Of Luke LaFaro. Both drivers down pit road here as we stay green flag racing. At the front of the field, it is the 11 now of Schmidt. He's getting a really good push here by Blevins. Can he go back around and take over the spot that he started in here tonight?
Craig Learman has caught it tonight, and LaFaro's back out. He might have had to serve some kind of black flag if he sat on pit road for a couple of seconds. So comes through the trioval. That 48 of Blevins pushing Steve Schmidt up towards the front. We saw Blevins nearly get himself in big time trouble here through the trioval earlier. The damage he has is rather limited, and as long as he stays in the draft, he should be okay.
How about Donald Bennett on that outside row, the third car to the outside. Bennett is starting to come to the front here tonight. Dan Dill looks like he's dropping down as he goes to the back here. It looks like he's going to try and tag the rear of the field. He may possibly think they are not done wrecking as they're going to be 4 wide actually before they get into 3. Dill going to have to stay on the apron. Dudley going to go through on the inside, and Pogo, and then it's going to be the 10 of Barry to the outside there.
Here comes the field. They're passing LaFaro again. He wisely moves down onto the apron, and it's going to come back to pit road, actually.
Yeah, Luke LaFaro, maybe his night, more damage than the number 20 of LaFaro really needs to have here, but he does, if he stays out for at least another lap, he will pick up the spot from Craig Learman, because Learman is done here for the night from Talladega. He is shown in the 20th spot, but Cody Levitt and Luke LaFaro are both out there at least rolling around the racing surface. Jason Eisenhower is down pit road for the last 13 minutes trying to get repairs done to the Sim Speed Shop machine here tonight. Doesn't want to give up just yet. He still needs a couple positions in the point standings, but out front it is the 11 of Schmidt. Then it's Mullins and Blevins, Jones and Bennett, and then it's that 8 car of Holly. Holly's still trying to get his lap back.
An interesting move by Steve Schmidt to go up there and tag team with Corey Blevins and open up that bottom for Mullins.
And maybe Schmidt likes that outside lane.
He's had quite an eventful evening. He qualified 3rd and then had some connection issues and immediately dropped to the back, and while getting back there had a close call and nearly lost the car. Went a lap down and got the lucky dog when that first crash occurred, and here he is in the top 5 again.
Yeah, back up inside the top 5, and Blevins going to go down to the inside. He is going to try and get the run off the push from John Mullins, and he gets a great push with the Heartland machine. He will go to the front, but I think there might be a little damage, I'm not sure, to the front nose piece here of that 48 machine. Will that slow him down out front leading this pack?
Yeah, that's when he and the 49 of Dudley got together and through the trial. Well, that's where that came from, but gonna lead this lap. Catching another lap car. That's Cody Levitt, the 38. He pulls down onto the apron to get out of the leader's way.
Yeah, Levitt is shown 2 laps down right now, and just taking a quick gander, where is Luke LaFaro? Well, ladies and gentlemen, he pulled number 20 down pit road, and he is still sitting in his pit stall 2 minutes into this pit stop right now, as he is shown 22nd, 1 lap behind the off-track out of the race car of Craig Learman. Yeah, Craig Learman, so could get back out there and get another position, possibly just trying to get all the damage fixed on that 20 at this point, and then he'll come back out on the track. This time by, though, looking like we're too wide here for the lead. Looking to the outside is going to be Mullins. Blevins down to the inside. Schmidt is now pushing that 64 machine, and at the line, dead heat across the line, but I believe they're going to give that one to John Mullins.
Who goes back up in the front back, still trying to get his lap back, is Eric Holly.
Holly's there, but look at that 03 car. The first time we've seen Aaron Davidson this far front here, as he is pushing the 31 of Bennett on the outside lane, who is pushing the number 11. There's a Pennsylvania connection over there. Both drivers hailing out of the Topton, Pennsylvania area. It is the Holy Schmidt car, driven by Steve Schmidt and the Turn 3 Racing Network machine of Donald Bennett, and then it's an Alliance machine right behind them, and Davidson on the outside. All 3 Chevys making it work. Now here comes Ryan Jones. He'll move up in front of the 11 as they come through the trial.
Here they come past Cole Haas, put him another lap down. Actually, 1 lap down.
Luke LaFaro coming back out onto the track. He'll try and pick up that 1 position that Craig Learman's going to leave him.
He needs to try to run as many laps as possible, in case they all wad him up again.
It'll be 43 laps this time, 42 laps next time by for the field here in the Bobby Johnson Memorial 250 here tonight from the Talladega Super Speedway. It is the USRA. It's the Cup Series here on Thursday night, and the championship hunt has come down to just 2 drivers. One of them of Luke LaFaro, who was wrapped up in that incident, and then Jeff Pogo right now, who is out there running around in the 10th position on his pogo stick right behind his teammate there of Stephen Holmes.
I guarantee you Jeff Pogo is saying, all right, guys, just calm down for a while. Or better yet, just calm down the rest of the race, although we know that's definitely not going to happen. But I like what he's where he's at right now. You know, still up there in the top 10. He's still getting himself pretty decent points, and he's still within, you know, right up there in this lead pack in case he wants to go up there and try to get some more.
Yeah, 10th position with one pit stop still looming, and that is where Pogo really strides on his pit stop ability here on the super speedway tracks, as he's able to get on and off pit road usually without any incidents. Tuesday night, though, with the Xfinity side of things, Jeff Pogo did end up being the winner, but he kind of got there in a unconventional way, as he had help getting off the pit road and had a ton of rear end damage on his 24 machine. Found himself, though, battling for the win when it all came down to the last lap. He did sneak one out, so he got his first win on the Xfinity side of things on Tuesday night. Could he sweep the Talladega Super Speedway races, though, here? With a win in the Bobby Johnson Memorial Race. We'll find out here in just about 41 laps, as he runs in the 10th position. Has a whole bunch of help back there with his teammates.
Comes the third lane again up front with 31 of Bennett as well as Aaron Davidson, but they kind of stall out.
Yeah, they stall out, but that middle lane's not together. Even Jones is all by himself, because Schmidt is going to drop back, and he's looking like he might possibly go down to the inside lane behind the 8 of Eric Hawley. So that'll leave Jones by himself on an island in what we call the sucker hole here at the Super Speedway tracks. And now Bennett gets another good shove down into turn number 1. It may only be inches every lap for the 31 and the 03, but that outside lane, sooner or later, will come in as though they break apart here. Davison's going to go up against the wall. Bennett going to go down behind Jones, but then he comes right back up to the outside lane.
Going on there, but down under 40 laps to go. Boy, really starting to side rack in the corner right there. Between Ryan Jones and 6 to 8 of Mock. We're going to start to see once these laps tick off, these guys are going to give each other less and less room.
And the intensity will start to pick up here, as it's going to be 39 laps to go here for the Super Speedway. Out front, it is still the 64, John Mullins, Corey Blevins. They have been working together all night long, it seems. You know, you find one, you find the other out there on track. But then again, how hard is it to find that green car, as Bennett goes back to the outside with Davidson. And now they have the 22. Hagedorn is now in the mix there with the other Turn 3 Racing Network car. Jones going to go down to the bottom and barely squeezes inside a hole there.
Boy, he took a gamble right there, but he got away with it.
Bennett still continuing to lead that outside charge with the 3-car tandem now that they have. And Eric Hawley looks like he might go up. No, he slots back in line behind Miroslav Mock for the time being. Mullen's going to lead another one here. I believe he has led the most laps at this point here tonight. And our timing scoring is a little off on our end. Can't give you the exact number that John Mullins has been out front. But we can tell you, though, 38 to go, he's in the catbirds.
Oh, Davidson turns Bennett around.
Oh, Jared Hagedorn going to go around. Will he hit the wall? Slight contact with the left front and the left rear for Jared Hagedorn.
Watch Jeff Pogo. Jeff Pogo looks like he's through it clean.
Might be a reflection on his car, but Donald Bennett from the outside lane into the outside wall down the backstretch. We'll throw it back. We'll see if we can catch the replay here, as it was Davidson pushing the 31 of Bennett down the backstretch.
Got him in the right rear quarter panel.
Him pushing. Davidson just peeks out just a little bit to the right, and around goes the 31. Hagedorn makes contact with Jones, and around they all went. It doesn't look like anybody else is going to get wrapped up in this one, as everybody else seems to.
Oh, yeah, he actually had to. Yeah, he had to swerve to the left to keep from hitting Hagedorn in the door, and doing so, he lost the back end and went up there and slapped the wall pretty hard with the right side.
It's unfortunate for your pole setter here tonight. Let's see if we can zoom in, see how much damage is actually done to the Holy Schmidt car. And, well, there is a good bit of right side damage on that car. We're going to see how much damage he has on pit road, see if he can get it all, you know, kind of knocked out and back, see if it'll get back up to speed here tonight, because that's where everybody wants to wind up, in victory lane here at Talladega, and not going out the north tunnel here in a hauler, hopefully.
Well, the timing of this caution is very interesting as far as they should be able to make it on fuel if we don't have a caution, but if we get a green-white checkered, it might be close.
Yeah, so you possibly might see a bunch of guys. You see a bunch of cloud cover coming over the racetrack right now. You might see a bunch of guys come down here, top them off with fuel, go back out there when they get the one to go, as actually Miroslav Mach is going to stay out here and maybe possibly just get himself a lap led. But when they get the one to go, they'll probably see just about everybody else come back down pit road here and top them back off and see if they can make it if they get a green-white checker.
I thought this would be a good opportunity, actually, for Jeff Pogo to get him a lap led under caution, but a couple guys in front of him, Mock as well as Sturgill, they stayed out, and Jamie Leach.
Maybe all trying to get a lap led. Remember, Jamie Leach, as you see, John Mullins does win the battle off pit road. Jamie Leach has damage, and he has not led a lap here tonight. Possibly trying to get a lap led for the number 2 machine out of Ohio.
Came into this race 4th in points, only 4 behind Eric Hawley. With the problems that both of them have had, it'd be close even still going into Pocono next week. In fact, Stephen Holmes, who's 3 behind Leach for 5th in points, he might, if he's able to make it to the finish with a good result, he might overtake those 2 drivers.
Yeah, and Eric Hawley actually got the lucky dog that time when the caution flew, so the 8 of Hawley will be put back on the lead lap, and then him and Jamie Leach, both having damaged vehicles, can try and battle it out to see whose team had the best repair job on pit road. But while we're here under this yellow, let's see if we can get a word in quick with the driver of that 31 of Donald Bennett, because he is down pit road. Donald, you got a copy with us up here?
I do, sir. I do.
Well, it looks like a little bit of damage done to this Turn 3 Racing Network 31 machine. What went wrong going down the backstretch?
You know what? I sent it. I've been having internet issues, and I said, hell with it. I'm gonna go. And Aaron came with me. We were struggling clearing Jones for a long time, and then we got around him, and he gave me a tap to the rear a little bit too hard and sent me around.
And around that,
go ahead, Roger.
I was gonna say, and around that machine went. How much damage is actually done with it as we see you pulling back out here onto the track?
I have about 36 seconds of optionals. Total, it was like 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Front end's clean, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, that's the most important part of the car, of course. But yeah, up until then, you probably had the most up and down night of anybody out there with those internet issues early. And then that really close, that big save through turn 4 down the apron ended up costing you a lap, but you got the lucky dog and was making your way towards the front.
I'm sorry, I got people in chat, or not chat, in game or race chat talking, so I missed that.
I was saying about how you've had the most eventful night out of most everybody out here with that early internet problem that after your 3rd place starting spot, and then that big save down in turn 4.
Yeah.
Losing the draft and losing a lap, but getting that lap back. But looked like you were in a good spot to maybe win this thing.
Well, as Roger knows, man, I'm not the best racer out here, but this is my track, and if I get the chance, I'm gonna come for it. So.
Well, I mean, you still got 33 laps to go when we restart. We get the damage fixed up enough, and these guys start wrecking. Who knows?
Yeah. That's the hope, man. We're gonna give it all. I've been, like I said, all night shaking and baking and just trying to do what I gotta do. So it's been fun.
Yeah, you definitely put on quite a show, man.
I appreciate it.
Well, there you heard from the 31 driver of Donald Bennett out there. Internet issues for him plaguing him, and then gets to the front, and maybe something just went wrong between the connections there, but he had definitely gone around, and there is damage on the 31. A little bit that he has to fix yet, but I think if he stays in the draft, he might be pretty good. And I'm also looking at the car in front of him that was wrapped up in that Jared Hagedorn's Turn 3 Racing Network Ford. His looks a lot better than Donald's car. And
well, Bennett has no back bumper, but it's mainly the front end that would be the most concerned. That doesn't look too bad. I mean, I've seen a lot of cars with their no back bumper at all be able to hang up there. So I think if he's not down on any kind of power, and he might be able to still hang with these guys.
And
You
Jamie
see a lot
Leach,
of cars topping off the fuel.
And Jamie Leach doesn't actually bring that 2 machine down pit road, so this is going to be pretty interesting because Jamie Leach won't be able to make it on fuel from this point. Maybe just once the lap led because he actually didn't get it.
Oh, we're on 1 to go, so he's kind of lost that opportunity.
Yeah, well, I think at this point Jamie might just be saying, well, I just need that extra point because my car's not going to keep up in the draft. So you just never know what these guys are actually thinking out there on track.
Well, he's actually has just been given a NEOL penalty, maybe asked for one himself. So
That'd be interesting to see what happens here with Jamie Leach. He will go to the back, so that'll move the inside lane up 1 position. So it'll be Ryan Jones, the restart inside lane machine. And then next to him, it will be the green John Mullins car, Miroslav Mock, and then the damaged ALS machine of Robert Dudley. Then it's actually showing us Donald Bennett should start right around the 5th spot. And Luke LaFaro, the lap down machine, will... Everything is a little jumbled because of everybody coming down pit road real quick. So now it's just about go time, though, Taylor.
yeah, I'd say so. And Donald Bennett he's restarting up in the 6th position with all the cars coming down pit road, topping off the gas. So he's going to know right away whether this car is capable enough to keep up in the draft or whether it's too badly damaged to stay up there. Interesting that Luke LaFaro, though, still... He's, how many laps down is he? He is 11 laps down. Sure, these guys in front of him are hoping that he just pulls down out of the way once they get up to speed, but race car is off. It'll be 33 laps to go.
Yeah, 33 laps to go here. They come down this very long front stretch here before we get to the start-finish line, which is practically down there in turn 1. And there it is. The green flag is out, and we will go back to green flag racing here. Only 33 laps left.
With Mock did not get a very good start. And LaFaro is pulling down out of the way.
So it's going to take maybe a lap or two here. Oh, Bennett wants to go to the inside, and then Dill was there to try and fill the hole, and they were just not communicating, and Dill going to try and not run into Bennett. He goes up the track. That could have been bigger than it was. Dill and Bennett then both getting on the same page. Now Dill will go to the outside lane. I don't see any damage done to the nose of that 81 VP Racing Fuels machine.
He looks okay, especially given what could have happened there. Because one car ducks down off the track to pit road. That's Michael Sturgill.
Interesting to see the number 90 of Sturgill coming down pit road here, running a part-time schedule with the USRA Cup Series. And that's not what you want to see if you were Sturgill being brought down pit road with only 32 laps to go here. So an unscheduled stop for the driver of the 90.
Perhaps he might have pitted when the field got 2 to go, because I know he stayed out at least the one time. So maybe that's what it was. But it's getting intense up at the front again.
Yeah, shaking and baking time. Here comes the Taco Bell car of Ryan Jones to the outside, trying to get around your leader of John Mullins. But he's up there all by himself. Nobody ducked out a line, so it's a lonely feeling because it's a long way back to Chase Berry. He runs right now in the 11th spot. That's the next car to the outside lane, and he is not within striking distance for any kind of help right now. Ryan Jones at the line. It will be 31 laps to go here at Talladega.
Now they're kind of single file again with Jones, the only car up on the outside, tried to squeeze his way in. He's desperate right now, but he's 68 of Miroslav Mach is saying no, sir. Jeff Pogo right now in 7th position. Done a great job of playing strategy, riding it out, logging laps, missing the crashes. But we still got a long way to go. Still technically quarter of the race still to go, 30 to go this time. Basically, the only way you wouldn't be up towards the front right now is, one, you're just concerned about the big crash, or if you were really, really close on saving fuel, which I still think these guys should be okay for the most part, but again, if we get a green, white, checkered, and at Talladega, that's always a high probability, might be a little questionable at that point.
Hey, you never know when the next big one will happen because Jones is still trying to get to the lead from the outside. And once again, by himself, though, coming through the tri-oval, still got the 64 out front, still got the 48 pushing the back bumper of him. So it'll be Mullins across the line once again first. Blevins, Jones, Mach, Dill rounds out the top 5. Then it's Davidson. Little Jeff Pogo has joined the front. Now this is the highest that the 24 driver has been all night. Here comes that 44 of Jason Harrison. He is battling Ira Kohlhaas for the lucky dog position. I believe Kohlhaas has dropped off out of this lead pack here, so Jason Harrison just trying to get to the front here. Maybe just try and get the lap back the old way because his car is absolutely clean. It is spotless here.
Well, we've seen what happened when guys try to do that, though. Remember with Eric Hawley. But yeah, he's after being 2 laps down, still is not out of it yet. But how about Ryan Jones up on the outside? Right now he has 34 up there to push him, but he was making some headway still all by himself, and that's the reason he was doing that is because he was side wrapping enough and still catching enough of that air from that inside row of cars to be able to stay up there. He's pulling even with Mullins for the lead with that 44 car on his bumper.
And I just noticed that the 11 of Steve Schmidt has called it a night here from Talladega. So Luke Lafaro, who is actually still out there rolling in the 21st position, 11 laps down, he completes another 4 laps. He could possibly actually pick up the 20th position. So with Luke staying out there, that's 2 more positions. That's a handful of points that Lafaro could gain back. He's not going to be in contention here tonight, but every point's going to count coming down to the end with only 3 races left after Talladega. Talking about every point mattering, the 2 damaged cars of the number 2 of Jamie Leach and the damaged number 8 of Eric Hawley. They are actually drafting together. Oh, Hawley's sideways. Hadedorn is going around.
The caution is out. Oh, and another
Bennett.
car is at Bennett.
All of a sudden, Bennett's car may be malfunctioning there, and it goes around. So 2 cars going around on the backstretch.
That's the thing about this new tire model. Regardless of what vehicle you're driving, whether the Cup car, the Xfinity car, the trucks, I mean, if you just make a sudden move, particularly a sudden move to the left, you have a tendency to catch to the right, and it's tough to save it that way. It looks like that's what happened to both these drivers, actually. What a big break that was for Jason Harrison. He's going to get back on the lead lap after being 2 laps down earlier.
And remember, he has a perfectly clean 44 pure ink cars. You saw Bennett and Hadedorn both actually self-spinning at the same area, and both of them with hard contact into the outside wall. Bennett now lost the front nose clip of that 31. Hadedorn still looks like it's drivable. We'll have to see how much damage is actually done to it.
31's kind of, I think, done in at this point. He has no front end. Of course, he got that back end damage. And at the 22, doesn't look that much worse than it was previously. A little on the right front.
You know, that caution also is going to save Luke LaFaro, because LaFaro down on power out there was going to go another lap down in just a little bit, but now he'll be able to tag the rear of the field and be able to pace with the leaders under pace speed, so he will click off a couple laps here and catch Steve Schmidt, and now say that Bennett or possibly even Levitt, who is out there limping his 39 car around, or even Hadedorn would decide to call it quits here for tonight. That would be a couple more positions he could pick up before the end of this one, because there is still 26. It would be 25 laps to go here this time by, and actually a bunch of guys coming down pit road here. Pretty interesting. Mullen's going to hand over the lead to Blevins and come down pit road.
That is an interesting decision. But Jeff Poga, one of those that stayed on the racetrack. What Luke LaFaro was hoping for, though, he's hoping. Although, I mean, it's kind of weird to say this as a competitor, but you know, you never want to see people have misfortunes, but that's what he's kind of having to rely on right now. As big as, you know, there's two cars that are more than likely going to be hard for them to continue at a very fast clip, but what Luke LaFaro needs is a massive, big one.
Yeah, but what he doesn't want to be is caught up in that big one when it does happen. But while we're here under caution here, BobbIE Johnson Memorial 250 race here tonight, presented by Jared Hadedorn. We're going to step away. We're going to wet the old whistles here before we bring you the final closing 20 laps of this race here from the Talladega Super Speedway. So don't go anywhere. We will be right back with more racing action with the USRA Cup Series.
coming for a splash. Three, two, one, now. All clear. Punch it. Great job. You did really well.
And welcome back, race fans, here to the Talladega Super Speedway tonight. USRA right now under yellow flag conditions, but we're about to get them back going here.
Very interesting strategy under this caution, Roger, with John Mullins pitting from the lead. After, I mean, it seemed like nobody could pass him as he was able to protect that yellow line with Corey Blevins pushing him. He decided to. He must have thought that he was going to be too marginal on fuel to be comfortable, so he's going to be restarting in ninth. Corey Blevins and Ryan Jones on the front row, as it'll be 22 laps remaining.
Yeah, so 22 laps remaining here, and this one is going to be a shootout to the finish. We should have enough fuel on board these cars to go the rest of the way. They be Blevins and Jones, Mock and Davidson. And then Jeff Pogo is actually sitting right there, and look at Eric Hawley. He's going to be right behind him to restart this one.
Another driver that was a lap down at one point in time, but here he is. So has that slight damage on his front end, but a little checkup on the restart there. As will Ryan Jones duck in? Yes, he will.
So Blevins hangs on to the lead for the time being. That outside lane, though, led by Davidson, not really rolling just yet. He does have Chris Brown up there behind him. Can he push him to the front of the field?
They're making some steam up there. I wonder if Davidson feels more comfortable being the one getting the push as opposed to being the pusher, as we saw a little bit ago with Donald Bennett. But look at the run they've got, and they're going to go at least pull even with the leader, Blevins. Davidson lead this time by, I believe he did. Yep, by 200ths of a second he led that lap. He's going to stay up there. Now he's going to pull down to the inside.
Yeah, so Chris Brown pushes him all the way to the lead on the outside row, and then Davidson just going to leave him sit out there. It now goes down to where Corey Blevins is. Oh, and he's off the front bumper of that 48 Heartland machine. And that will bring the outside lane up to him. Jeff Pogo actually going to duck out of line there. He'll go to the outside. But it'll be Brown, and then it'll be Mullins right back to the back bumper of his machine. He's been to the front more times than anybody here tonight.
And then he's got enough fuel. Yeah, Mullins is going to be the man on a mission.
Yeah, not only does Mullins have enough fuel, now he has enough fuel if a green-white checker would come out here tonight. At the line this time by, I believe Chris Brown led that last lap there. And look, here comes Jeff Pogo. He hasn't led a lap yet tonight. He will bring to the third lane his teammate out of Missouri, two Missouri boys up to the high line, running 3 wide here at Talladega.
And Dando making some headway down there, and he, he did. I was talking about earlier, he'd much rather prefer to be down against that car in the middle groove, but he was able to make some progress, but now they're dropping back again.
Yeah, last year right here at the Talladega Speedway, Dan Hill and Jeff Pogo both hooked up on the outside lane, and right about this time right here.
A little blink out of Ryan Jones.
Yeah, but right about back there through the trioval, they gone around.
Getting down to crunch time. See these pushes become more aggressive and harder. Pogo wants that bonus point for leading the lap. As we've documented, he hasn't got it yet.
And there has been some bad blood between the 24 and the 81. If you remember back a couple of weeks ago when Dan Dill won his second race of the season, Jeff Pogo was to his inside, and around went Pogo. That's what really allowed Luke Lafaro to close the gap in the point standings. And right now, though, the 81 trying to push that 24 back up to possibly gain some points. But that outside lane will dissipate, and they will try and now work that second lane, see if they can start getting momentum there to push those guys out into the lead to see if they drop down to the inside. But right now it is still Davidson and Brown, your front two cars here as they come down the backstretch. It'll be Brown to the outside being pushed by John Mullins. Then it's going to be the 03 to the inside of Davidson being pushed by Corey Blevins. Jones is right there. Miroslav Mock still sitting there with his no bull machine. He hasn't led any green flag laps in that no bull Winston car, but he has definitely been inside the top 5 majority of this night.
Pogo still got Dill behind him. And I know there's some animosity between those guys over what happened in Michigan, but he's going to have to put that aside. And basically, if Dan Dill is the guy that he's going to have to rely on to push him to the front and to the wind, and that's the way it's going to have to work.
Yeah, they got a couple teammates right there. You know, Dill is under that stable, but it is Pogo and Eric Holly and Stephen Holmes all right there inside the top 10 now with a chance to pounce for the Ford group.
Chris Brown is clear. Well, now he's not anymore. He had that opportunity, but he's going to stay up there with Mullins. Got to get that opportunity again. That's what this front end damage is doing. Oh! Blevins gets turned under the yellow line, still trying to gather it, and he does. Now I expect, here comes Mullins. He's got to duck underneath the one before Brown gets that opportunity, and he's going to go to the point.
Yeah, that could have been an ugly disaster there coming through the tri-oval, but they gathered it up, and now Mullins going to lead the inside charge once again with his green machine Chevrolet. Chris Brown still toting the outside lane, but now he has Jeff Pogo pushing him. Getting that Ford of Pogo. Does it have enough ponies to push the Camaro to the lead? We're going to have to find out of that outside lane. Two drivers that have worked together in the past at super speedways. Oh, Davidson wiggles up the track a little bit. Brown reacts, and now Brown comes right back down to try and side draft that machine.
Coming down, 15 laps to go this time around. A big push up again. Chris Brown, he's getting it from Jeff Pogo.
So it's Brown to the outside with Pogo and Dill. Holly right there also, the fourth car in the line. Doesn't look like Holly, though, with his damage number 8, is able to really suck up to the back of the 81 to really hope that outside train roll right now.
By the way, Luke Lafaro is still out on the racetrack, running in 20th spot, 11 laps down. So basically that 8 to go mark, if we don't get any green white checkers, that's the cutoff point for him to gain any more positions.
Davidson goes to the outside lane now in front of Chris Brown. What will Brown do? Will Brown push Davidson across the line? And that time by he will. Davidson going to take the lead at the line by the slimmest of margins. Looks like Eric Holly has now ducked back in behind the number 2 of Jamie Lee, just outside the top 10, running in the 11th spot now.
In the inside lanes is not really going anywhere with Blevins down there with that front end damage.
Yeah, I don't know if he's able to actually get to the back bumper of John Mullins and really give that car a shove like it really needs to. Something I just caught out of the corner of my eye, though. 2 drivers towards the back of this pack here. It's the 10 of Chase Berry and the 44 of Jason Arison. Remember, Arison was 2 laps down at one point after missing his pit stall under that first green flag pit stop. Now he has worked his way back onto the lead lap, and he has found his teammate in Chase Berry. Both of them are running 12th and 13th right now, just off the back of this field. And they could make a late race charge and go to the outside and see if they can work these 2 curing cars.
On the inside. That's Ryan Jones. I think he's getting out of there and wanting to drop back. Another guy keep an eye on is Eric Holly had that same situation, missed his pit stall on the green. That's how he got a lap down, and then trying to get his lap back the old-fashioned way. Kind of the big going into turn 3 was one of the primary guys that started that big wreck. But here he is, back on the lead lap in 11th position with that front end damage and damage to the right rear. Again, trying to be third in points. Of course, he knows it's going to be a really steep mountain to climb if he's going to catch the top 2, which is kind of unlikely at this point, but he definitely wants to at least finish third in points and trying to take some pride as the league owner as well.
Right now out front, though, it is Davidson, but here comes the inside lane once again. John Mullins leads that group.
Guys are going to be catching a group of 3 cars, LaFaro, Levitt, and Kohlhaas in another, say, 3 laps or so. I could mix things up a bit.
Got to be 11 laps to go this time by here at the line. Aaron Davidson going to lead another lap for himself. Eric Holly back to the outside lane, and it looks like Ryan Jones has worked his way back up into, I believe that is the 10th position, as he has worked his way back around Chase Berry and Jason Arison.
Well, they're actually going to catch these lap cars sooner than I thought. There's Cody Levitt down on the apron. None of these drivers that are in this 3-car little pack are on the same lap, so if they're all getting down out of the way, the pack rolls by them, and the pack now gets 10 to go. Mullins led that lap, I believe, by 14 thousandths of a second.
So it's 2 by 2 for the first 4 rows. Eric Holly not being able to really suck up, so he goes right back down to the bottom. Lost a position there to Ryan Jones. Jamie Leach is back out in front of him now. Stephen Holmes down there, 4th car to the inside lane. It's been a very quiet night for the driver out of the Carolinas, and he has now started to find himself towards the front here on a track that he is not a super speedway driver. He'll tell you straight out he does not like coming here to Talladega or Daytona. But right now, he's got that Ford in a pretty good spot here to possibly sneak one out, as they're going to get 9 to go this time by.
So curious as to how John Mullins is going to block the outside lane, because eventually I think at this point in time he might have to start thinking about it. He's going to stay down there. Chris Brown still shoving Aaron Davidson.
Yeah, Mullins, you haven't seen him really deviate from his plan here tonight. It's been pretty much run it down there on the bottom all night long, and as he has had Blevins right behind him. Blevins hasn't really been too ambitious to go up there and try and really get around him, so I wonder if they have worked something out, knowing that Blevins has the nose damage on the 48. The outside lane starting to roll now. Here comes the 10 of Chase Berry to the outside. Jason Arison is behind him. Eric Holly still trying to take a little draft, trying to pick up as many positions as he can. It just does not work for that 8 car. Every time he pulls to the outside, it goes backwards. Now Dan Dill going to go up there and try and block a little bit of that run by the 10 of Berry, but Berry's going to pull up there on the side. It's going to put Dill down to the bottom for the time being.
Did Berry make that headway, trying to get that side draft up the middle lane? Oh, close call there between the 44 and the 81.
Yeah, Chase Berry, one of those super speedway experts. He runs them weekly, and right now he is showing that he can go to the outside and he can bring his car to the front. It'll be 7.
Look at Chris Brown. Oh, he gets Davidson sideways up against the wall, trying to keep it out of harm's way. It's a spin. The caution's going to come out. I kind of saw that developing as Davidson looked like kind of was peeking to the outside, and Brown was trying to stuff his nose in there and just got him in the wrong spot. Kind of similar to what Davidson did to Donald Bennett earlier. Of course, none of this stuff is intentional, but Davidson's going to come to a stop, and more cars gotten collected in this, including Ryan Jones. Stephen Holmes also, the 9 car, the whole front end of that car is torn off, and he looks like a modified out there. One of those guys in that battle for 3rd place in points.
Hey, here's the replay of that as they come through the tri-oval. You're going to see Brown give a shot to the 03. The 03 up into the wall. He holds it up there, and then it looks like Dill and the 44 just come together and nowhere to go for a lot of these guys. They all just kind of pile in there. Ryan Jones, the 9 of Holmes, the 81 of Dill, and the 44 of Harrison, all making contact. And that's...
Stephen Holmes probably felt like he got hit by a... Can't even describe it. Felt like he got hit by some kind of bullet just down there, minding his own business, trying to sneak by Davidson's car up against the wall. Thought he was through it okay, but then 44 and the 81 sideswiped each other and took the 9 car with them.
So it looks like that's going to end the night for Ryan Jones as he is out of the lobby already in the 91 Taco Bell machine. Probably on his way to, well, gather himself some Taco Bell.
If he doesn't run this for points, so...
I was looking at it, I was just thinking, because Luke LaFaro's still out there turning laps, but it looks like he is too far behind here tonight unless they would really go to overtime. I believe Luke LaFaro will have to settle for a 20th place finish. Cody Levitt, Ira Kohlhaas, and Michael Sturgill, if they continue to stay out on track, could possibly pick up, though, that position from Ryan Jones, who has now officially left.
Well, I mean, you definitely can't rule out overtime being part of the equation here. As we're going to restart, assuming when we get one to go here, it should be about 2 or 3 laps, very most. And I believe it's, correct me if I'm wrong, it's 3 attempts at a green white checker?
I don't know, they change it all the time on me, so you tell me. You tell me.
Oh.
It's like put a dice in your hand and just roll it tonight, and that's what we got.
Well, a car that really loved to see that cost was Michael Sturgill, was he's going to get a lucky dog here, and his car is absolutely spotless.
Yeah, Sturgill had to make that unscheduled pit stop there a handful of laps ago under green. We haven't got a confirmation on why the number 90 of Sturgill had to come down pit road. Maybe we'll be able to gather a word in with him here before the end of this yellow flag and see what all went wrong. We're let him catch the field at least here before we do that. We don't want to scare the driver out there on track with especially my voice.
And my voice as well, I must say.
So Sturgill will be catching the tail of the field right now, which will be 13th position for him because Davidson, Dill, and Holmes are all down on pit road trying to make repairs to all their machines. Bennett is back out there on track. I believe he is shown on the lead lap. There you see him in his tore-up, modified-looking Turn 3 Racing Network 31 machine, and Jason Harrison just in front of them in his tore-up Pure Ink modified. Sure, a lot of the race fans never thought they would have tuned in to see a bunch of modifieds racing around here at Talladega tonight.
Maybe at the end of the race, but not at the beginning. But I mean, this race has been pretty much what I expected. Kind of tick off some laps in the early beginning, get green flag pit stop out of the way, and you know the old saying, cautions breed cautions. Once we get one, then we get a few more.
Well, wow, it looks like Sturgill's going to stay out there. Let's just dial up the driver of that number 90 here and see if we can get a word in with Sturgill. Mike, you got a copy of Smuth and Butcher up here in the booth.
Yes, sir. How's it going?
Well, it's going pretty good up here, my friend. It's going to come down to a little bit of a shootout here, and you're going to be back on the lead lap. Clean car, and do you have anything for your leaders here yet tonight?
Yeah, I think I got something for them as long as I can get past all the damaged cars. I think I'll be alright. I'll try to get this thing up front.
Can you confirm for us? We saw you duck down pit road shortly after the green came out. Can you confirm what that was for?
Yeah, the previous caution I went in, it was 2 to green, and I went in, we were coming up on 1 to green. I was going to be really, really close on fuel, so I wanted to go in at the last minute, and it gave me a penalty for a stop and go. So I had to go in and sit there and wait for 40 seconds.
Certainly a tough break there, but a good break with this lucky dog. I mean, it might come down to some last lap wreck, and whoever gets through it first might be the benefactors. So I'll definitely be watching you.
Sounds good. Hopefully I can avoid anything that does happen.
So just a miscommunication possibly between Sturgill and his spotter, bringing him down pit road right before we went back green flag racing, and that got him a stop and go penalty, and that hold for 40 seconds is really what killed his chances there to stay on the lead lap.
That was the only thing I could assume what it was, because the whole iRacing rule is if you, well, there's not quite familiar with it, is if you stay out until the thing comes up with 2 to green, then the pit road will close on you. Well, as opposed to if you do come down pit road once it opens, it'll stay open the whole entire time. So I think he stayed out when everybody else came in, got 2 to go, pit road was closed, and you know what happened after that. So although despite that, very fortunate to get that caution flag, and he's not out of this thing. As the field, I believe they are doubled up, so it will be 2 to go. It will be a green-white checker, but it will not be overtime, if you catch my drift there.
Yeah, not going to overtime, but still will be a shootout, and they'll line them up like this. It'll be Mullins, Brown to the outside. To the inside, it'll be Corey Blevins. Then it'll be Jeff Pogo. Then it'll be Miroslav Mach. Chase Berry will restart there in the 6th position. Then it will be Jamie Leach.
Oh, we got issue under caution. I think who was that back there? It was Ira Kohlhaas kind of downshifted and hit the wall. But anyway, continue.
Well, either way, we're going to line it back up. If that wasn't enough excitement here under yellow, we're going to let it happen here under green in just about a half a lap. Still got 15 cars on your lead lap here, but a bunch of them look like the Northeast Modifieds.
And believe it or not, if these guys get together up front, one of these modifieds still could possibly win this race.
Yeah, you never know. Actually, looking back through the field,
track.
Steve Holmes, you can actually see the motor with the nose tore off that machine. To go when we get the green flag here out of the 120 scheduled laps tonight. John Mullins leading the most of these laps here at Talladega.
I think they're asking quite a lot to make it back around here. We have Eric Pollock blinking a little bit. It's going to be curious to see if they're able to make it back to the white flag or not. But here we go. It's all come down to this.
Got to be the long, slow crawl here back to the restart line here as soon as the iRacing Mustang pulls off the racing surface. There it goes. It makes the left-hand turn. It's officially on pit road, and it's going to be officially go time. Just waiting on the green flag. Got to get all the way around this tri-oval here before we can drop it. It'll be 2 laps to go once it finally turns to the green flag conditions. Coming up through the gearbox going to be very crucial here. There it is. The green flag is in the air, and 2 to go here from Talladega. Can Sturgill come from the back to the front here?
The outside line's formed up a little bit better. Though Blevins giving a nice little push up to Mullins. See if Mullins stays down on the bottom or if he'll come up to block the top.
Yeah, down the back.
Down there on the bottom.
Down the backstretch, it is going to be the 46 of, or sorry, the 64. I keep being dyslexic here tonight. but it is Mullins leading that inside charge. He still has the 48 of Blevins behind him, and then it'll be the 1 of Brown and the 24 of Pogo. Sturgill has cleared all the damaged cars, and now he is on with the back tail here, and it'll be 1 to go. This time by at the line. If they can make it through the tri-oval here, we can finish this one in the regulation. 120 laps. Through the tri-oval they come. White flag officially in the air here tonight for the BobbIE Johnson Memorial 250 race. And it will be led into turn 1 by John Mullins and Chris Brown. Neither of these two drivers have won a race this season here with the USRA. It could be a first for both of them. Or maybe Jeff Pogo or Corey Blevins could sneak away another win. They are pushing down the backstretch like it is their job. It's the time to go. There's no more laps after this.
Boy, Pogo, that was a great push that he gave to Brown down the back straightaway, pushed him even. See what he decides to do here. It might be a photo finish coming down here. See if Blevins can push Mullins ahead, 3 wide back there. Blevins is going to get turned. Mullins gets turned around, and it's going to be Chris Brown winning at Talladega.
Wow, what a heartbreaker there coming down to the finish. It's going to be Chris Brown, Chase Berry, Jeff Pogo, Michael Sturgill back the 4th. John Mullins comes home 5th after leading out of turn 4. Gets turned in the tri-oval. Jamie Leach finishes 6th. Eric Hawley 7th. Miroslav Mach in 8th. Aaron Davidson 9th, and Dudley rounds out your top 10 drivers. How about Corey Blevins, though, goes from 2nd to 14th there in the final 1,000 feet of this race.
Yeah, I think we're going to have some scoring issues because a couple guys slid onto the wrong side of pit road. They might get themselves an unsafe pit exit. But wow, what a finish we saw there. We saw Corey Blevins pushed John Mullins for a majority of this race, but then tried to go for the win. Actually hooked Chris Brown first. That got him out of whack. And then they all just started banging off each other, but Chris Brown able to survive it. And how about Jeff Pogo? Coming home with a 3rd place finish, and Luke LaFaro relegated to a 20th place finish, and that's a big boost in points for Jeff Pogo.
Well, as Chris Brown celebrates out there at the start-finish line, we will step away and get to your post-race interviews here for your BobbIE Johnson Memorial race for the USRA. But don't go anywhere, race fans, to hear what they say came down to the wire here tonight. And welcome back here to the Talladega Superspeedway for the BobbIE Johnson Memorial 250 tonight, presented by the man out of Nebraska, Jared Hadedorn, who did finish this race, just not where he wanted to. He came home 9th. But how about the man who comes across the line first here tonight? Started from the pits, Chris, and then, well, in the right spot at the right time.
Yeah, I got lucky there. I thought we were all done.
Yeah, tell us about those closing laps there at the end, as things were absolutely crazy out there, and especially coming there through the tri-oval.
Yeah, it's Talladega, so you know it's gonna be a crazy finish, especially if you get a yellow flag there at the end like we did. I don't know who got turned around there, but I thought we were all going for a ride.
Yeah, you were one of the lucky ones to scoot through there and nab yourself your first win here of the season. It's been a long time coming. It's been, trials and tribulations for you so far this season. Halfway through the season, pulling out, going to just a limited schedule the rest of the way. And here at Talladega, you put yourself back in victory lane. With this victory here, will we see you in the future here going through with the next 3 races left in the season from Pocono, which we know you're obviously real great at, or Homestead or Charlotte?
Yeah, I'll be running the last few weeks here. Kind of got my mind right. I took a couple weeks off just to get away from my racing and get away from the wildness of all this stuff. So I'll be back the last 3 weeks. Hopefully we can get another couple wins here to finish out the season.
Well, congratulations on your win here tonight from the Talladega Super Speedway. Is there anybody you got to thank for putting this number 1 where it is across the line first tonight?
Big shout out to Pogo for pushing me at the end there. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have been winning this race. And I want to say hi to my girlfriend. She's at her home in Ohio right now. Her grandma's not doing so well, so I just want to say hi to her.
Well, Chris, is it your girlfriend or is it your fiance now?
She's my fiance now.
There you go.
Yeah,
Gotta get it right. That's a crucial factor now, my friend, and congratulations on the engagement. And once again, congratulations on winning here tonight from the Bobby Johnson Memorial Race at Talladega.
All right, thank you.
Well, I believe, Taylor, you have caught up with the man who came home second, and you're becoming good friends with him at this point.
That's right, because last time we did one of these races, we announced I talked to him after he finished second for the second consecutive race after starting 23rd. Chase Berry, although it says on the leaderboard that you led 4 laps, but for the most part you were hanging towards the back of the field until it was time to go, and you're rewarded with a runner-up finish.
Yeah, that was fun. Yeah, I was my plan was just hang out in the back, whatever, and then it got where the guys starting on pit road, and then there's like a big checkup, and then there was like a group of guys that fell back. I was like, well, I'm gonna go up front since I'm already up here, and had a little fun, see what like a car could do, because like I know this car, if you made aggressive moves, it would loop and spin out on you. So I just did a little practice for the end and everything while I was up front enjoying it, leading a couple laps, so I still got it. And then when caution came out, just hung around to the back and try to get Jason and work together and just try to get back to the front at the end, and it worked out.
And by the way, you were one of only 3 drivers that finished this race with a 0x at the finish. But we saw you coming down to the checkers. You were 3rd in line on the outside, but not really a whole heck of a lot of help out there. If you had someone tucked up on your bumper, what kind of move do you think you would have made?
I don't know. I looked in the mirror coming off a 4, and there was like really nobody. I mean, I seen the 90. I think Sturgill coming, but I know he was a little too far to do anything. So I know then I just kind of went with a run and just basically sucked my pride, and instead of trying to drive through people, just try to work with Pogo and Chris. Well, mostly Pogo. Chris is just good luck to him. But I just stay out of the wreck and just finished.
You certainly did a great job of being at the right place at the right time, and come on with a 2nd place finish 2 races in a row. Before we let you go, any shout outs you want to give to anybody that you care about?
Oh yeah, I'll give you a shout. I'm starting to hate playing second. I finished second Auto Club too. You might as well call me Chase Elliott. But give them a little sponsor. We got Pure Ink finally. Pure Ink came on. Help them out, and then KB's on around shopping with my sister and all that, helping her out, and just thank y'all for putting on a heck of a show, and you and Roger doing your thing.
I appreciate that.
And my teammates. I forgot my teammates. Jason, Jim, and Justin.
Yep. It's too bad that Jim he was up at the front until his internet, I guess, did something funky, and because
his computer shut off.
Yeah, that was too bad, but at least you're able to get a good runner-up finish for your race team. And what do you think about Tricky Triangle Pocono next week?
I like it. It's one of my like top 5 tracks. I really enjoy it. I really haven't ran it with the new car as much, but I know with the old car and the Xfinity car, I loved it. So yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to get there.
Well, we look forward to seeing you back next week, and congrats again on your second place finish, man. Have a good night.
Yeah, you too. Thank you.
Yep, and Roger's standing by with the man who benefited from his rival in the championship having a rough night. Come home in the third place finish, Jeff Pogo.
Yeah, caught up with the driver of the 24 out of Missouri here. Little Jeff Pogo does rally back after starting on pit road and then getting trapped back there a little bit farther back from the field. Jeff, it was a long night, as we said, started on pit road and then kind of ran back there about 18 seconds behind the field for over half this race. And then the yellows started flying and you came through the field. At the end, put yourself in a good spot. Just going to come home 2 positions short here tonight from another win.
Third place tonight feels like a win for me. It's a good night in the points. Unfortunately for Luke, he had a couple issues tonight, got wrapped up in some of that crap. But, you know, I told Chris tonight if he gets ahead of me or any of my other teammates, I was just going to stick with them. So, good night overall, though.
Yeah, good night for you here on the track. It's going to be a good night also in the point standings as Luke Lafaro finishes 20th and you finish in the 3rd spot. There was a 10-point deficit between you guys coming into tonight, and now that gap is going to grow even more here. You didn't wind up with a clean race as you did have a little bit of damage on that 24 from those last laps. Tell us how crazy that was coming down through the tri-oval there.
It's pretty crazy. We kind of decided to stay up in the second lane. We knew it was a little bit faster. Running off the corners, get a better run to get a push. So we just elected to stay up here. But, man, it's tricky these last couple laps, especially the last 1 or 2. Usually that last lap coming in the tri over here, someone gets bobbly and mistakes happen. Like Chris said, we thought we were goners, but moved up the track a little bit. I kind of wanted to block Chase and finish second, but it wasn't worth wrecking him or me to get second place. So I figured we'll just drag race it out to the end.
And you drag raced it out, and unfortunately just a couple inches short, and you're going to finish in the 3rd spot. You're used to those couple inches short nowadays at this point in your life, but, you know, how do you feel about going into Pocono here next week?
I feel good. Tricky Triangle is one of my better tracks. Had probably one of the better teachers I could have there. You kind of helped me learn that place a little bit, so I'm good there. I'm good going into Homestead. Highline's pretty good for me there, and then Charlotte's one of my better tracks too. So these last 3 weeks should be fun for me.
Well, there you heard it. It's going to be fun for Jeff Pogo, and Luke Lafaro's going to have to chase him. But Jeff, before we let you go here, we're handing you the microphone. Any shout-outs you got to give here for putting this 24 machine, the Knuff machine, here in 3rd?
Yeah, I got to thank you guys in the booth for putting on a good show tonight, broadcasting this. I know it was a long race. Appreciate you guys sticking it out. Got to thank my teammates, Steve Holmes, Dan Dill, Eric Holly, Cody Levitt, Jamie Leach ran with us tonight, and Chris Brown. All worked good together. It was a good night. Got to thank my wife for allowing me to come down here and ignore her for a few hours every week. And, yeah, got to thank my sponsors, Matco Tools. Knuff put this thing in close enough to victory lane for me. Looking forward to it again next week.
Yeah, I heard there was a height restriction, so Jeff Pogo not being able to park the 24 in victory lane like he wanted to here tonight. But Chris Brown is our winner here tonight for the BobbIE Johnson Memorial. 250 here tonight presented by Jared Hadedorn. And the big topic of discussion was BobbIE Johnson himself being out there in the chat here early on here to watch this race. And, well, I'll say it again, race fans. BobbIE Johnson's word, and just BobbIE Johnson's words, not mine, coming to a track near you in the summer could be BobbIE Johnson himself back out there racing out here on this platform sometime soon. But for all of us here on the Turn 3 Racing Network, that's just going to about do it here from Talladega. Next week is Pocono for the USRA Cup Series. Unfortunately, will not be brought to you live here on the air for the Turn 3 Racing Network, as a bunch of us are headed down to, well, Tulsa for the Chili Bowl down there. So check up for all those updates on the Turn 3 Racing page, also over on personal page for myself. And, well, we'll catch you live, though, back here with the USRA Cup Series from Homestead on the 23rd of January, the second to last race. Yeah, well, until then, race fans, we'll catch you then. Stay safe out there.